You may have thought we were gonna miss it, but we did not miss it. On Time Crew, as always, hashtag On Time Crew. We go by many other names as well, but On Time Crew is the first and most important of our names. What's up, everyone? My setup's way different right now, you know, swagging on them a little bit. Yesterday I started to move around everything again. Once again, you can see that the camera's right in front of us. I think I just did that yesterday. So if you are not a part of Decoded, then this is probably new for you. So yeah, it's right in front of me now. I moved the top monitor, so now I have space there. But now I have a monitor off to the left. So you'll see me look a lot of different ways that I don't normally look. You'll see me struggle a little bit, but it's all gonna be good. But how's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully the audio is okay. As you can also see, the mic is not in my face. It's not in the screen. And so hopefully the audio is still okay. I didn't get to test it as much as I wanted to. And I'm gonna be tweaking it to make sure that it is good in the future. But what it does give me is it gives me the flexibility to do all see, normally I would hit the mic like this. I would go like that. Oh, see, now I messed up my setup. That was a mistake. But you know, normally I would hit the mic like that, and it will be problematic because I couldn't move my left arm because the thing would be like all over here. But now, you know, we got a little bit of space to move. I can see my keyboard. You know, it'll give me a little more confidence as I learn to type on my own. Hey, excellent. I'm glad it came on time. Dope. All right, Sharky, appreciate it. What's up everyone? What's up, MG? First, you know, you might have the #1 amount of firsts so far out of everybody. What's up, YGBSM? What's up, Ryan 1473? Good to see you. I appreciate you continuing to gift a sub. Hey, thank you so much for sticking around. What's up, Frequency Hop? Sharky, what's up? Hammy Hamtaro with the glasses on. I love it. We're gonna have to, you know, one day we're gonna be cool enough to wear the glasses on here. But excellent. I'm glad that everything. What's up, Trickhead? I'm glad we are all ready to go. So tonight we are back with Horizons. We are on, man, we're almost there. This is number 14 of 16, and if you join the classroom, you'll see tonight is actually pretty chill. These next two are going to be pretty chill. Really more of a wind down from everything we've been learning. It's kind of just the wrapping up of all of the little things. We've learned the core of what AWS has to offer that they'll be asking about on the exams and things. We've kind of learned the core of you know, there's always a lot more. Again, they have 170 plus services, but we've learned a lot of the main things about that they would ask on the introductory exam, as well as would allow you to start to be able to dive in with a company and to, you know, use a lot of these main services. Tonight we are going to be diving deeper into specifically Cloudwatch, Cloud Systems Manager, and learn a little bit about billing, mostly set up billing alarms. This is something that we should actually have done in the beginning, and I think I remember when I was making the curriculum for this, I remember putting that in the front, but then I pulled out of it and I don't know why. So the billing alarms, we'll set that up. I think we may have half done it before, but we'll also just talk about how to approach billing, because billing is very important, especially as a solutions architect. Understanding how billing works and being able to manage that is interesting. And we'll also talk about the structure a little bit of the way that AWS accounts kind of can work and organizational structures and things like that, just a little bit. But none of that is crazy important right now. These are all things that we'll be diving deeper and deeper into as we go along and deeper into the courses. But, you know, we'll get you introduced. We'll talk about those things. We'll have a little fun tonight. So tonight, you know, use this as an opportunity to ask questions about anything you want to ask questions about, because like I said, it's going to be much more chill of an evening, you know, pretty relaxing. Hello from Norway. What's up, Norway? How you doing? Hello from Baltimore. No, it's okay. You don't lose on-time crew privileges. It's okay. All it means is whenever we get off, however late you were, you got to stay on for that much longer. You know, after everything's said and done, you know, when we head on to the raid, you got to stick around for that long. We're not mad, just disappointed. It's okay, you know. I understand. I definitely understand. My first tech adventure brick wall like 5 days before this. Oh yeah. Tech adventure brick walls. You will run into those all the time. Last night on man, I woke up this morning and I was like, man, I haven't been that confused. I haven't been as confused as I was last night on Decoded in a long time, and I feel bad about it because I got frustrated and I kind of went on my own, I went on my own little tangent just because it was weird, man. Like, it was weird. It was really weird for me. Yeah, I was like, it really like broke my mind. I'm completely, you also know I'm completely okay with not knowing something, but like I knew, like it was being confused about a concept that I know about already. So it was like, what's going on here? Like I was really confused, but you know, it happens. It definitely happens. But yeah, tonight should be much more chill than last night. Not quite as confusing. It's funny because I feel like the decoded is going to be like hot sauce until into the very end. I think test driven development tomorrow is going to be I think it's gonna be fun, but I also think it's going to be, again, it's a new paradigm of things, and it's going to be, you know, something you really have to think through. Whereas we're kind of, you know, we're touching the cruft of the stuff. We're touching what's left. Things that are very important. The stuff we're going to learn about tonight is very important. It is very useful. But the scope of its usefulness very much so depends on your project, depends on what you're doing. So there's no need to really like get in depth. No one's gonna hire you and be like, are you like, you got to be a pro as systems manager. Not a single person is going to tell you to do that, and no one's going to be like, hey, you got to be a pro at Cloudwatch. You know, it's more of a valuable tool, but they're not really going to tell you need to be a pro at these things. So they're probably not even going to be listed on any job recs. I would be surprised. I mean, Cloudwatch might be. I would really be surprised if systems manager was listed on any job requirements at all. But because in lieu of slides, what we're going to do first is we're going to start with Cloudwatch. And what we're going to do is we're going to get logged into AWS, but then we're going to hit up AWS's official documentation on Cloudwatch, so we can talk about a little bit about what it is. Again, what's important out of this is to know what it is and what you can do with it. And again, I think it would be better for you to memorize this by taking your own notes rather than me giving this to you, because it's a relatively simple. It's pretty simple. So auth code. Where's my phone? Let's get logged in. Authy? Yeah. All right. We'll give people a few more minutes actually, but put over to AWS Cloudwatch. And Cloudwatch is fun. There's a lot of pieces. There are a lot of pieces to this and Systems Manager. And we'll run through them. So, you know, if you have any questions about any piece in there, hopefully I'll be able to answer it. But like I said, there are a lot of pieces, so there's gonna be things that I'm not as familiar with. I will happily tell you the things that, you know, I've never touched. We can go into it and see what's good. Also, I realized last night, this is like it's like LaCroix. Well, it's like, it has LaCroix essence, but it's just regular water. I just filled it up. It's weird. It's really nasty, actually. Not that LaCroix's nasty, but when you were expecting regular water, which it is, and you get a little essence of LaCroix, you know, that doesn't always speak volumes about how good this water should be, or maybe it speaks about the cleanliness of the bottle or something. I don't know. It feels really weird. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying something. Do you use S3 intelligent tiering often? I do not. I think it is. A lot of people do. I think the only reason I don't is because the things that I have, I don't have very much in S3. In compare, like the stuff that I have in S3 costs me, you know, $1 per month, maybe, if that. So I don't really, like, I could save myself some money, but I feel like, you know, I just, it's not that serious for me. We do use S3 a lot at the positions that I've been at. S3 intelligent tiering did not come out until I was at this current position. We did not set up S3 intelligent tiering because we manually set up lifecycle policies before it was a thing. So we automatically have these lifecycle policies, which will basically do what intelligent tiering does on a specific, you know, interval. And again, I also don't think we're saving enough data in S3 to really really go back and go through the kind of audit to see the cost analysis to see if intelligent tiering might be any better for us. But no, I do recommend people use it. I do recommend that people use it. It's just we already had these lifecycle policies set up, and they kind of get applied to everything that we do automatically, and it's fine. My setup now is, again, I showed you guys a picture before. I used to have a 38-inch ultra wide up top, and I used to have a 27-inch on the left and a 27-inch on the right, which was a good setup, but it gave me limited positions for both lighting and for camera placement. And it was really weird when I gamed. So I game with this computer as well, and having a monitor, like I would have to choose between the monitor over here that's off center or the monitor over here that's off center, because the ultra wide has very bad input lag, and it's not really for gaming. Low refresh rates. These are both 144 hertz G-Sync monitors, so I wanted to center them up a little bit. And I'm also, because I'm probably going to be going into the office a little bit, I'm moving the ultra wide. The ultra wide is actually on the floor back here. I'm moving that to the office. Right now I have 3 27-inch monitors. I have the same two monitors, so it's like a surround, one in the center, one to the right, one to the left. All 27-inch monitors, all 1440p monitors. The one on the left is actually the other two are gaming monitors. The one on the left is actually like a ProArt, like 100% RGB monitor for creative professionals. Now, the only reason I got that is because I'm supposed to I gotta make some YouTube videos soon. I gotta start doing some video editing, and a little more creative work. So it's there in preparation for when I start doing it. So yep, 3 27-inch monitors. What's up, Lord Azazel? How are you doing today? Okay, let's go over to Academy View and let's talk about Amazon's Cloudwatch. Now, if you've ever been a part of any of the DevOps things that we've done, we've dropped the word observability, and I didn't even know they were going to drop the word observability here. They dropped the word observability right at the top. Observability of your AWS resources and applications on AWS and on premise. Now we'll talk about what observability means in a second, but basically it's monitoring, and that's what I first want you to think about. And the reason I want you to think about it like that is because what they will ask you in the earlier exams, they will ask you the differences kind of between there are other observability tools inside of AWS, and this one particularly is a monitoring platform, and it's a way for you to monitor metrics and things about your resources. That's the main thing it does. It does more than that, but that is the main thing that it does. Deshaun, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much. Okay, so what is observability? So monitoring is like when you go to the hospital and they want to see how you're doing, and they hook you up to the heart monitor and they take your blood pressure, and they're getting information about the way that your body is working. Monitoring is the same thing. Monitoring is taking these resources, taking these computers, whatever they may be, and gathering information about them so that you know what's going on. Now, observability takes that a little bit farther. I know, it's coming. I promise. There's a little bit of pipelines right here. Observability takes this a little bit farther. Observability is being able to use information. It's being able to have insight. It's being able to have vision into the systems, into the networks, into the way that things are working, so that with enough information that you can make decisions about what to do. So without having to log in, without having to do to do special things, you can get the information that you need to know how things are functioning, but also in a paradigm, in a manner in which you can also make decisions about what to do next, whether that be keep doing the same thing or change this or change that. So observability, again, it's more than just monitoring. It's more than just, hey, is the system up? Hey, is the system CPU high or low? It's more than that. And there's a combination of things that go into observability, and we'll see some of those things as we get into Cloudwatch. But again, they didn't put the word monitoring here up top. They did put it down below right here, but I really do want you to tie the word monitoring to Cloudwatch. I think that I believe that will help you on the exam as we get through. I think it'll help you on the exam by tying the word monitoring to it. It says monitoring and observability. Like I said, monitoring, it's more than like observability is more than just monitoring, but it's a tool. It's a suite of tools basically that gives you access and insight into your AWS resources and applications on AWS and on-prem. So you can use this to monitor things on-prem if you are using any of the on-prem services that we discussed, I think maybe last week or the week before. So we're gonna dive straight in. We're gonna dive straight into it and take a look at it. I will tell you right now, most commonly, it's used to monitor EC2 instances. It's actually, I think you can actually get to it. One of the few places you can get to it besides, you know, the main service menu is through EC2, but it can be used for tons of things. And you can already see as soon as we get in, we don't even see EC2 first. We see a bunch of other stuff here, but this is going to be the view you get, and I'll make it a little bit bigger so we can see everything. Let's see, hold on one second. Someone just followed, and let me go over my activity feed so I can give you your due thanks. What's up, Linux25? Good to have you. Good to see you. Smiling Contender, I didn't get to give you your, I missed that one, I'm sorry. Welcome to the channel. Both Manitog, yeah, I like that too. Lady Does Bad, well, that's 4 hours ago, but hopefully you're here. Appreciate the follow. How you doing? Oh, yep, retro, big alarm. Yeah, it's a big alarm. It's a big alarm, all right. It is. So I'll pass the marshmallow test. Pipelines are going to be even better. Yeah, yes, it's going to be even better. It is. It's going to be better. It is. You'll pass. You'll pass the marshmallow test. You know, just there'll be two when you get back. But okay, we can already see there's some colors on this page. You know, and this is generally what monitoring is. You know, monitoring generally has a little bit of information. It usually wants to tell you when something is good or bad or okay. And we have some colors here. Again, we have stoplight colors: red, green, and yellow for different things. Red generally means bad. Yellow means maybe this is not bad. Maybe it's kind of neutral. We don't really know. And green is good. And so in here, when you first get here, this is kind of your main overview section. I almost never use this page. It does give you some good information. And let's actually walk down the list over here. So actually, no, we're not gonna walk down the list. Let's start at metrics actually. So Cloudwatch is a monitoring platform, and what it'll allow you to do is Cloudwatch will allow you to, depending on the service, it will allow you to configure this service to collect specific information about another service. So if you want to see what you have available to you, once you click on the metrics, it'll bring you here and it'll show you all metrics that you have. And you can do a little search, but the search kind of sucks, I think. But you can see different services here. And again, EC2 is probably a very common one. And you can click into that. And the reason why we don't want to, I don't want you all to dive crazy deep into this is it can get, although this is a powerful tool, I don't think it's very user friendly, to be 100% honest, especially when you're starting out. So I really want you to just understand what it does. Yeah, things get weird real fast. They really do. So you can, when you know what you're clicking on, it helps a lot, but like, man, it's tough. So you can get some metrics. You can do it for auto scaling group. And so there may be times, you know, if you're running a lot of servers and you know, you want to get information about how that ASG is doing, how that auto scaling group is, you don't really care about the functioning of those individual servers, because auto scaling groups really, they kind of act as, you know, when sitting behind that load balancer, they're kind of acting as one big application. And if you want to care about that, you can click on that, or you can find out information per instance. And so I can click on per instance, and it'll show me the things that I have available. And so these are all names. And let's actually open up let's duplicate this and go to, okay, wait, before this breaks, let me turn off. It's running okay right now. Before it breaks, like it's been breaking every other day, let me turn off, what is that thing called? Let's go to the bottom, advanced. Hardware acceleration, because in my VM it's not having a good time. Okay, I'm gonna relaunch it and hope it stays up. Okay, that should stop Chrome from dying on this like it's been dying. So if we actually go over to EC2 in here, and I'm doing this in a different tab, only have a couple running instances, but these are all things that are stopped. I still have them. I didn't delete them, but they're stopped. And I went to the EC2 section of Cloudwatch, and it starts to give me things I can collect about each of my instances. Look at this over on the left. Load balancer is an instance name that I have that refers to this instance right here. And so I can do different things. I can check for status check failed. I can check for CPU credit usage and CPU credit balance. And there's so many options in here. It's really tough. Like, I have no idea all the options that are in here. But besides all of the super granular ones, there are also ones that you're probably familiar with. Things like CPU utilization and network in, the amount of network that's going in versus the amount of network that's coming out. So you have a bunch of options in here, and it's clickable for any of my instances, and all instances are basically going to have the same options. And so it looks like a lot of stuff here, but it's just the same options over and over again for the different named servers. And so are any of these up right now? I don't think so. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna web one's up. So is web one actually serving any content? Let's see. I have no idea what's on it. I don't know why it's up. I'm worried about my bill, to be 100% honest. Okay, there's a site on here. This is great. I'm sharing this in the chat without the HTTPS, or yeah, let's do this. All right, so I'm giving you that so that you can click on it whenever, maybe not yet, but let's take web one and let's set up some of these metrics. And so web one, why is it only showing me instance name? Why is it only showing me one? Interesting. I wonder why that is. Let me. Oh, it's because. Hold on. It's probably because. Can I do this? Will it show me? Scroll. I wonder if it's on the. It's the same 500 of 800. I wonder if it's on a different page. This is weird. I wonder, graph metrics, surplus balance. Don't know what this is. Okay. Source. So two things. We're gonna go through and we're gonna click some of those. What's interesting about these and what I personally like about Cloudwatch metrics is we're gonna add a couple of these real quick. But look how the source over here starts to change. So I click a couple options and it starts to add some JSON. We've talked about JSON before. We've used JSON before. That's that JavaScript object notation. You know, those key value stores. And so, one, yes, you can go in here and you can set these up, which you probably should do. It's probably a better way, but you can back these things up by just copying the JSON, and you know, or you can write them. You can create these using JSON as well and paste the JSON in, and it will give you, you know, your various Cloudwatch metrics and boards, and you'll have to, you know, modify your data and stuff. Let's do it by instance ID. What instance ID is web? That's a search. Here we go. Here's all the stuff. And so let's grab a couple. Let's grab CPU utilization. Let's grab, and you can see here automatically it starts to graph out the things that I have here. And so there are other options besides just graphs. You can change it to be just numbers, a couple other things, but graphs are generally the thing that you're going to be using, that a lot of people use. So I can do, you know, I can add a bunch of stuff here. So I can also add network in and network out. And notice, actually, let's take that off. Notice really quick though, when I did that, notice how it's on the same graph. It's actually on the same chart, and it actually gets very difficult to read. And there, it does add, you know, a thing here. It changes the different axes, and it gives you a legend at the bottom, but it's very difficult. So you can put all pertinent information, all comparable, all important information. You can put them on the same graph, and it's very interesting how you can do this. At first, I never understood like what, like, you know, why you would want to put two disparate pieces of information on the graph, on the same graph. Why wouldn't you just make different graphs to track the whole thing? Because that's how I always thought. but there are ways to combine different services to see good things. So maybe you have an auto scaling group, and maybe your auto scaling group, maybe you have one thing that's tracking how many EC2 instances are in your auto scaling group. So maybe it starts at 2, and for a while it's 2, and then maybe you're also on that same exact graph. Maybe you're also tracking CPU usage, aggregate CPU usage across the auto scaling group. And so what'll happen is you start to see interesting things that, like, as on that graph, as CPU usage is going up, then the auto scaling, the EC2 instances behind your auto scaling group will also start going up. And when those start going up right at the same point, your CPU usage will actually go down, and there will be a kind of an inverse effect there. And it gives you some interesting visuals and some interesting information about correlation, and kind of what, like, the things that are feeding off of each other. It can be pretty helpful when you're building these things out. It takes time to figure out, what information matters. It's up to you to find out what information matters. There's absolutely no right way or wrong way to build these things. But let's say I just put let's just say I put just this CPU one here. Great, and I'll title it, Web 1 CPU. I can use this. I can use this thing to make what's called a dashboard. And so I made a graph metrics here, I added something here, but I can create a dashboard. And so there's nothing on these dashboards. We were doing something with them before. But what I can do is I can add widgets here, and I can create a dashboard of many metrics here that I can use. And I can stack them all around, and I can make a central pane of glass basically for me to get all the information I want. And it can be for anything. So maybe you only want a dashboard that only is looking at your web servers, and maybe you want one that's only looking at your load balancers, and maybe you want another one that's looking again specifically at your auto scaling groups to know how they're doing as a whole. And you can do all those things. It's really nice. It really is. It's super nice. Let's see. Let's grab a network in here, and it's not scrolling down like I want it to do. Can't the mouse here. The mouse won't let me go down. This is the VM for you. Can't hit the create button. There's no scroll bar to the left. No. Okay, maybe if I do this. If I go even smaller, maybe I go small enough. No, that didn't work. I can't scroll, so this might not work. Why can't I scroll? The VM doesn't like me. All right, let's try that one more time. Maybe I can do it. Maybe if I create a new dashboard. Horizons. Maybe it'll work this time. I doubt it, but it'll worth a try. EC2, for instance. Let's grab some Web 1 love again. Network packets, sure. And no, I cannot. Oh, there we go. It's right here. It's right. I can't. There we go. Create widget. All right. So now we have a single item right here, and that gives us information about network packets in. And then you can just add all of the widgets you want. I'm not going to go through and create a bunch of them. I just want you to know that you can do this. The biggest thing that I want you to remember is that when you're done, when you're done with the dashboard, click the save dashboard button. Do not click that save dashboard button. It will not save anything on your dashboard. It's very frustrating. And I promise you, every single person who is into cloud computing has done that before. Yes, frequency hop. You might think you can manage, you can get metrics about every piece of the system. There are things that you cannot get by default that you have to enable. Things like memory utilization is not available in Cloudwatch by default. And actually, so I actually have a, check this out. It's an AWS certs. This is the book that I use to let's see, is it gonna, it's not going to focus, but this is the book that I was using to when I was taking my exams and to study for my exams. You know, got a bunch of notes in there, you know, it helped out for me. And I just remember this right before, and I was like, oh, I have some information in here about when I was taking the sysops, and that was one of the things that I wrote down. Also, what else do you want to know? You want to know that these data points, the data points that you're seeing on this graph, they're actually given to you. They're collected in 5-minute intervals by default, but you can lower that down to 1 minute. 1 minute is the most frequent interval that you can use to gather information. So you can do that if you want. What else? Do I have anything fun in here that pertains to specifically metrics? Oh, you can select the like length that the data points are available for, which is, it's very interesting. I don't know what the correlation is here, but I think the retention on these is that if you do 1 minute data points, those data points are only available for 15 days. 5 minutes are available for 63 days, and 1 hour intervals are available for 455 days. I don't know. I don't remember much of that stuff. So the sysops was hard. The sysops was much harder than the solutions architect and the developer. So I never passed the sysops, but I also didn't study that hard for sysops. I studied, the only one I really studied for was solutions architect, and I took the developer first while studying for the solutions architect. Past that, I failed the essay associate the first time because I hadn't finished. Like, they asked me again at the time, they asked me a bunch of stuff about Beanstalk, and I didn't know anything about Beanstalk, and so I got like a 72% the first time. I took it, and then I came back and I got like a 90. Honestly, I'm not even joking. It's because I went and just read the Beanstalk section, and I passed that. But I never got the sysops. I took it once. It was hard. It was really hard. Well, it wasn't really hard. It was just that the questions were really like, they were very ops focused. There was questions specifically about like calculating throughput and stuff for disks, and it was interesting. It was an interesting exam, very different from the other two, but definitely doable, 100% doable. And I was gonna take it, but once I decided that I wasn't gonna be going for the DevOps Pro, I pulled back off of studying for it. I just never tried again. So I'm going for the Solutions Architect Pro. Hopefully around September. I'll probably be ready for it about that. But questions about the metrics, yes, will be asked on Solutions Architect. So you are going to need to, this is something that you will need to learn about as you get a little farther if you want to go the Solutions Architect route, about what's available, what you can do about the different data points. Again, by default, these are 5-minute intervals. They'll be updated in 5-minute intervals, and you can increase that to a minute if you need to. Yeah, so that's metrics and that's dashboards. Again, you can combine a bunch of these to make yourself a dashboard. Super configurable. There are different time intervals that you can use to kind of see trends over time, which is really nice. You know, you can do a custom time as well. I think you can go down to like yeah, okay, 1 minute makes sense. This is the fastest. But yeah, you can kind of see different intervals if you want to go back and see if there are anomalies, or you want to see something like this. Look at this. We can check if this is happening at the same time every day, and we get this giant spike here, but we also get it here as well. And we want to say, hey, you know, it happened 2 days in a row. Did it happen 3 days in a row? And it did, but you know, a little bit differently. Let's check a week. And if you want to, you know, you can start to see trends, because sometimes system spikes like that aren't errors. There are jobs that are running. There are, you know, things that are happening, and these can give you that insight. These can give you, hey, I see a pattern happening here. Let's look into what's going on during this time and see if it's something we need to resolve. So yeah, that is dashboards. Now, the next big piece is alarms. This is why people love this. Alarms are really, really great. Alarms are exactly what they sound like. Alarms allow you to take certain metrics, they allow you to take certain information and create alarms based on those metrics. Alarms and alerts that can get sent out based on certain criteria. Now, when you drop right into Cloudwatch's homepage, you are introduced to this alarms by service graph, and you can see here on the left is a good indicator of what's going on. It says I have 2 alarms that are alarming, nothing, 0 items in the insufficient column, and 3 in the okay. So that means I have a total of 5 alarms, and 2 of them are in a problematic state. If you see them in the alarm, that means they are currently alarming. It means that whatever issue that is currently an issue, and you should probably take a look at it. Now, what kind of alarms do I have that are being problematic? Billing. My billing alarm is going off. And so what does a billing alarm look like? Basically, I have a threshold set up. I say, hey, and actually let's go back to here. I have a threshold that says, hey, whenever my estimated bill gets above, $25, let me know. And so I can do something about it. And so it's set up. We're going to set up a billing alarm later as a part of the billing portion, which is going to be most of the billing portion. But as soon as it crosses that, it alarms, and it stays in an alarming state until I do something about it, or until it's no longer, until these metrics are no longer, creating a scenario in which it should alarm. But as you can see, this gives you a good indicator what your bill is going to be this month, as well, what it currently is. So my bill is currently at estimated charges are $73.65 right now for the month, when I set the cap at 25. Then I have 2 for DynamoDB that are fine. So these are things, it's still paying attention to these metrics. It's still checking these things, but it's saying, hey, you're not in a bad state. Whatever the capacity you set up was, whatever the thresholds you set up are, they're completely fine. And I have one more in here somewhere. John Wanton, shout out. That's a VIP right there. Thank you so much for all of the gifted subs. Let me see here. John Wanton. There we go. I got it. I typed it in. You are an MVP. Oh, thank you for, I got the emote. Okay. I love it. I appreciate that. I'm learning. So I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know. What is this? You got an emote? That's pretty dope. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, John Wanton. Thank you everyone who received a gifted sub from John Wanton. Please bow and graciously thank John. I really appreciate that. 50 emotes shared. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty dope. I didn't know you could share emotes. I'm gonna start emote sharing because that's pretty darn awesome. Thank you very much. So now with that, that was an alarm basically. And now it's funny because as soon as that happened, look at this. So we get one thing that goes in insufficient. No idea what it is. But now it's gone. Okay, so we're back. We're back in there. What is insufficient now is back. But take a look at what we kind of have in place. And when you click on alarms, they can be very overwhelming by what they are. And it says stream data, read capacity units, limit, basic alarm. And so these are just read and write capacities for DynamoDB. Not important that you know what those are right now, but they're just something that I'm monitoring. And I think that just, do I even have any tables set up? I don't even know if I have any. I don't even know what these are. DynamoDB. I don't even have any tables. Oh yeah, stream data table. That makes sense. What were we gonna do with this? We were gonna do something with this table, and we never did. But we will do something with this table. But yes, that's what I have some alarms for. And then target tracking, mastermind, and real launch template. Oh, this is for the launch template that we set up when we were doing the auto scaling groups, and this gets set up there as well. This is what I set up. This says, hey, check for the greater than 3 data points within 3 minutes that are over that 3%, and it's going to spin up more. And so that's the target tracking. That's where it's monitoring metrics, and these actual alarm metrics are what are going to be used to actually scale up in that event. So I have 3 that are fine. Not really super important. You can end up having tons of these. The good thing about alarms is they can send out emails. You can send these to something called an SNS topic. We'll talk about SNS in the next iteration of this, which is simple notification service. And so because of that, you can do a lot of cool things like send these alarms to Slack, or whatever tool you use to Discord. I believe you can push them to Discord. I think I've seen an implementation of someone pushing them to Discord or to Slack or to Microsoft Teams, to your emails, to wherever you want for people to be able to get the information that they need. Text message, you can notify people when there is an alarm. So it's really nice, and it's pretty cool. And maybe one day we will set up some that go to Slack so people know what's going on. We'll set up some billing alarms that go straight to Slack. So yeah. So that's alarms, not a big deal. They have a specific billing thing right here, because the billing alarm, although it is a Cloudwatch alarm, it is billing super important. So they highlight it here, and let me know that I've got this billing alarm that's going off, and it's been going off for a while. It's been going on for a long time. All right, then the next huge thing, the biggest thing in the world here is logs. This is what I like Cloudwatch the most for. And so we talked about observability. We talked about being able to get enough information that we can make decisions and understand what's really going on with our systems without having to log into our systems, without having to go into each one and look around. So Cloudwatch logs: monitor, analyze, and store logs. We have metrics that are going to look at different data points for the system, things like CPU, things like network. But then you have logs. Logs are not better. Logs are also helpful because they give you specific information about things that are happening. So it enables you to centralize logs from all of your systems and applications and AWS services in a single, highly scalable service. And so what this means is, no longer, how do you get information about how do you aggregate information when you have tons of servers that are spinning up? You have servers sitting behind load balancers, sitting behind auto scaling groups that are constantly creating new servers and services, and they're taking a lot of data and things are happening, in the application. How do you get information about what's going on easily? And Cloudwatch logs is that place. So you can basically send logs from your EC2 instances, from your services, into Cloudwatch, into these things called log streams, to log groups, in the log groups, not log streams, sorry. But although that sounds great, I find that Cloudwatch is notoriously difficult to really parse properly. It's difficult, although it aggregates everything here. It can be confusing. The log groups can get confusing, and the inside of the log group, the log streams, those are the actual individual stream of logs. They kind of rotate pretty often, sometimes on every new run, depending on what the service is. They can give you information, but they can be confusing to parse. It's basically system logs, which is nice, but from here, there's not amazing searchability at all. There are command line tools to allow you to do this. Amazon provides an AWS logs command line tool that does help with this substantially, but from the interface, it's kind of tough to find specific information that you need. But this does give you, again, one place. These log groups give you one place for information about your system to be pushed to. So maybe if you have a bunch of services that support an application, a single application that you call, I don't know, maybe you're running Reddit and you might have a log group called backend or something like that. And all the backend services might start pushing and aggregating their logs to the backend log group. And when you click in here, you might see different log streams from different services. And again, they can get real weird because the naming conventions and stuff, and they got to be unique and all that stuff. So a good place to aggregate those logs. And now that gives you a second piece. So when you have metrics, when you have those data points, plus specific information about what happened, what you can start to do is you can start to cross-reference things. You can start to see I see a spike in these things on this graph here on my Cloudwatch dashboard. And I see a spike in CPU usage. I don't really know what's happening, but now I can go to my logs and check my services at the same time and see if I can get any, exact information about things that may have occurred. Did a service die? Were new services spawning? What happened during this time? And maybe in the logs, you can find out that information. And that's where you start moving from monitoring to observability, when you have those different pieces of data and you're putting them together to kind of get a big picture about what is happening. And that's logs. Insights is pretty cool as well. Insights allows you to query these things, query this information as well. There's some automatic insights and things that can happen as well. I haven't used insights a ton, but it looks pretty cool, so definitely check that out. It just gives you another way to kind of search through your logs and find out information. Metrics, we talked about metrics already. Events is a nice one. I love Cloudwatch events, and this is something that people don't talk about a lot, but Amazon Cloudwatch events delivers a near real-time stream of system events that describe changes in AWS services. And so what these events allow you to do, these allow you to trigger different things. These allow you to create scenarios and rules and all kinds of stuff. So we use Cloudwatch events for a number of things. We use them to trigger Lambdas. We use them to trigger jobs inside of ECS. We use them to trigger, various automation tasks as well. Cloudwatch events is just a way for you to set these things up. What's nice about it as well is you can also set things up on a cron. So you can set up an event pattern when something happens, or you can set up a schedule. So I can cron out, if I have a Lambda that I want to run every so often, and I want to be able to trigger that thing every so often, this is an easy way that I can do that. And so it's really nice. It's not super simple to do. Like, you got to understand the paradigm of how Amazon wants you to kind of trigger these things. You might think, oh, I set up a target. I have these functions here and I can just, kick it off. And it's like, no, not really. You can't just kick it off. Usually you've got to write some type of payload or something for Lambda to get it to function properly. But yeah, it's kind of nice. Create these little rules. And once you have the rules in place, it's pretty nice because you can turn them on or off if you have a cron on. You can simply, go in and click and disable it if you want to cut it off for a little while or whatever. But it's a nice way to set up these events to continuously happen. Why one should use a cloud cron instead of a web hosting cron? In my job, we using them from cPanel Plus. Great question. So cron, first off, crons, for anyone who don't know, cron jobs are basically scheduled tasks that happen. So on a server, I could log in, even here. I'm not on a server, but that's why it's weird. That's why the resolution is messed up. Hold on, not change background. I think the resolution is bigger than my screen actually is. Yes, it is. There we go. And now this will work a little bit better. If we go to here, I don't think I have any crons set up here at all. But crons allow you to, again, run tasks on a schedule. Let's see, cron tab. I haven't edited a cron tab in a long time. So there's a thing here called Crontab, and right now it's running some automatic jobs on a schedule, and you set this little schedule here, and you can see here that the first things are the minutes, and then the hours, and then the month of the day of the months, and then the month and then the day of the week. So it allows you to set up a time schedule for something to occur on. And this is what Arco is basically asking. A tool like cPanel will allow you, what it really does is it sets up a cron right on the server for the automatic execution of a task. It all depends on what you would want, what you're trying to do. So this does not take the place of a cron on the server. It can, depending on the way your stuff is set up. But what it does allow you to do is to interact with some these crons allow you to interact with some AWS services much easier than it would be if you were going to write a cron on your server to interact with those AWS services. This gives you kind of direct access to be able to do, you know, certain things, to create certain triggers, and you know, a lot of things that you would want to do are right here. And so again, it's a cron to kick off things and to create kind of these event-driven things, specifically inside of AWS services. So again, doesn't really take the place, you know, those things that need to happen on your server, you know, whether it be an automated backup or something like that, that may not be done here. Like, this might not be the place to do it. Sorry, my dog scared me. Ooh, she scared me a lot. That means my wife is home. Whenever my dog runs up here, that means my wife is home, but I don't know yet. Wow, she scared me a lot. Yep, called it. She's here. See, you know, you get your little, you learn your family. But yeah, it doesn't really take the place of, you know, those web hosting crons that you're talking about. Just to kick off, you know, events inside of AWS, really. So rules are cool. Service lens, I don't actually know what service lens is. Never been asked about it. Monitor and troubleshoot issues with microservice-based applications. Interesting. So this is basically sounds like that with the, you know, with the boom of containers, and, you know, smaller applications, maybe Lambda and stuff as well. Smaller services. It sounds like this is just another tool that may work a little bit better with microservices. Don't really know what that is. You won't be asked. Ow. What was that? I thought I got stung by something. That was weird. That was really weird. But I don't know what that is. What's up, girl? No idea. You won't be asked about it. Container Insights. So Container Insights is something that's new as well. You can see that it's in beta. And so again, containers are a big thing. Kubernetes is a big thing. ECS is a big thing. Fully managed observability service for monitoring, troubleshooting, and alarming on your containerized applications and microservices. And what you might be saying is, all these things sound like the same thing. And yes, they are. They're all the same thing, kind of centered around different services. And Amazon will continue to add new focused things underneath here if they believe it'll get you to you know, stay inside of the ecosystem. So that's the way you can find out good information about your containers. Again, never use that either. Synthetics, I believe, is a way to do some of the deployment patterns we talked about. So canaries, you can see the canary right here, canary tests, canary services and things. It's a way for you to, you know, do some A/B testing, I think, as well, on your services. But you won't be asked about that either. These are kind of extra things that they give you, but aren't part of their core services at all. If I had a Cloudwatch metric on my wife, then I would have known that she was here, and the dog wouldn't have scared me. And you see that, and then I would have had a metric, and on the graph, it would have been like wife's proximity to the house, and then it would have been like dog's activity level. And then as my wife got closer, the dog's activity level would have gone up, and then I immediately, when they crossed paths, I would have known that she was here, and I also would have known that the dog was coming upstairs to lick my arm. And you know, it would have been, you know, I would have known, all from Cloudwatch metrics. Or the dog. I like that last rated digits. I think the dog may have been the event, because it definitely triggered me, because that, you know, I got scared there, and then I got fake stung by something. I still don't know what that was. That was really weird. Weird series of events, you know, very weird series of events. But you know, I'm actually proud of myself for taking that much time to go through Cloudwatch. But that's what it is. All you really need to know about Cloudwatch right now is that, again, it's a monitoring platform for AWS services and on-prem services that you're using within AWS. You can install software to allow you to get those same metrics. But it also has extra tools for observability. So there are more things. Alarms and dashboards are probably the biggest thing. Logs, different ways for you to aggregate information about that. Okay, so now let's take a break real quick. Let's relax for a little bit, ask any questions you may have about Cloudwatch. And again, like I said, this is not one of the services that, like, you got to know crazy in depth, especially early on. They will ask you a lot about this stuff later on in Solutions Architect Associate, in Solutions Architect Pro. but they ask you literally about everything in Solutions Architect Pro. So, you know, you'll get there eventually. Fun career. What's up, man? What's up, Tirop? How you doing? Welcome, welcome over to the channel. Welcome while we're learning a little bit about cloud computing. If anyone likes FIFA, anyone, I'm terrible at FIFA, even though I love FIFA. Head over to Fun Career. Fun Career plays a lot of FIFA and is much better than I would ever be at FIFA. I'm so bad at FIFA, and as much as I love soccer, as much as I love FIFA, it's not in the cards for me. Everyone has their thing. I'm really not good at any video game, but I like to play them. But FIFA is not it's not my thing. Came to class. Hey, I feel you. We're 1/3 of the way through. Not even really, because billing is going to be shorter than that. But welcome. We got through one section now. We're going on to the next section. The next section, which is going to be Systems Manager. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. Systems Manager was not a focus when I had first started really diving into AWS. It was definitely not a focus, but they have included a number of things in the past few years that have actually made Systems Manager a really great product for a number of things. Again, it's use cases. You're not really going to use it on your own, most likely, but it's got some amazing use cases. So AWS Systems Manager, and you can start to see how these services start to like tie into each other again a bit, but gain operational insight and take action on AWS resources. What does all of that mean? I have no idea what it means, but similar to Cloudwatch. So Cloudwatch is watching the systems. Cloudwatch is setting up these metrics. It's taking in information about these systems. AWS Systems Manager is another way for you to get insight. It's not collecting information, but it provides you the tools so that you can take action and get information about things that are going on with your AWS resources. And just like Cloudwatch, it has a number of things on it that will allow you to do certain things. We're not going to talk about a lot of it, to be honest, because there's so much stuff here. I'm gonna focus on a couple of big ones. Besides, gaining operational insight, take action's the big thing here. And so, when you have a lot of AWS resources, say you have a lot of AWS EC2 instances, generally, I never call them this, but they're referred to as a fleet. So if you got, hundreds of AWS EC2 instances, you have a fleet of instances. Now, take it from where you are now. We've talked about it before. We've talked about tools and things that will allow you to do this. But if you had 100 AWS instances, and you need to manage them, what if you need to go in and do an update or install things? That'd be really tough. You wouldn't be SSHing into 100 instances. You want a tool for that. And there are other tools for that. There are other tools that I would choose to do that, but AWS Systems Manager allows you to manage fleets of instances, fleets of servers, fleets of services pretty easily as well. And so there's a bunch of stuff in here. There's some automation options. There's Patch Manager in here that, again, will allow you to basically configure what will happen to an entire group of servers. And this is where something like instance tags comes into place. This is where that metadata comes into place, because I can say, hey, every server I have that's tagged web server, which, maybe I have 900 servers, but maybe only 300 of them are tagged as web servers. Those are the servers I want to manage right now. I can say, hey, all the stuff that's, name tagged web server, go ahead and perform this maintenance here. So if we're talking about something like this patching section here, I can actually set up a patching schedule. So I can say, hey, I will select a maintenance window, so only do it during this maintenance window. And you configure a maintenance window, and you can set it to do what it needs. So scan and install versus just scan, all that stuff. It's all, it makes it all easy for you. It's really nice. And again, it will do it to all of the instances that are there. So you can also tag resources in AWS, like that, your on-prem services and stuff. If you have things like that, you can tag those as well, and this will handle it for you. So that's really nice. One of the biggest things that I love, and I really want to know when this came out, and let's Google it really quick. I want to know when Sessions Manager came out. Session Manager. This is what we struggled to set up in the EC2 instance, the very first EC2 instance class, maybe the second one, where I said, hey, if you can't log in via SSH, maybe you can log in via this. And this is a really, really nice tool. And we're going to learn next time. We're going to set this up actually on Monday during the security session. But Systems Manager allows you to, again, quickly and securely access your Windows and Linux instances. And the reason this is nice is because now I can really secure my stuff, because I don't need to allow outside access, SSH access, to my systems. I can use Systems Manager to log in and do any kind of management that I want. And so the current project that I work on, this is a setup that we have, and it was really weird to me the first time we kind of got here. You know, one day a ticket got dropped into the backlog that said, all right, remove all of the SSH keys from all of the production instances. And I was like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense, like, at all. But when you dive a little deeper, and you know, we're in a space where we do where we practice infrastructure as code. We're practicing immutable infrastructure, so we don't make changes to infrastructure. We you know, once the infrastructure is there, if we need to make a change, we basically create new infrastructure and tear down the old infrastructure. And so you update the code, you deploy, new infrastructure gets spun up, old infrastructure gets deployed. And so instead of having to log into a server, say, hey, we should never need to log into a server before, because all of the management is done via code, is done via Terraform, is done via Cloudformation, is done via whatever management tool we're using to set things up properly. And so that's where you should make your changes, so you don't need to log in. This also helps with our security posture. You know, if we can tell the security operations center at the Small Business Administration that, you know, no one can log in, then they will be very, very happy. And so Systems Manager, though, allows you to make to find out quick information, to do things that you need to do quickly, because sometimes it's hard to know what changes you need to make on the outside, unless, again, you can see and do what's on the inside. So it allows you, again, to get into those servers without having to have SSH keys and things set up. So it's nice. As long as your account's protected, you are good to go. So that is a pretty cool tool. Parameter Store is a big one. And if anyone has ever dove into secrets management, secrets management in applications in cloud computing is a tough thing. What is secrets management? How do you manage passwords, and how do you manage you know, keys, you know, API keys and things? Your applications that you write in the cloud are probably talking to other applications and need to do some type of authentication, and so passwords may need to be put in there, and you don't want to, you know, I think we talked about GitHub here, but you don't want to be putting passwords in your code base. That's really insecure. You don't want that to get out anywhere. There are things called Parameter Store allows you to store key value pairs that can be retrieved by your AWS services when the applications run. So it says centralized storage and management of your secrets and configuration data. So not just your secrets, but configuration data such as passwords, database strings, license codes. So if you have things that need to change, if you have various configuration, you can have a centralized place to store all that configuration. And when your service runs, it can go retrieve that data straight from Parameter Store and use that information kind of real time without you having to pass it in via code. So again, it's really just kind of key value pairs. So, you know, type text and you give it a name and you give it a value. So I could call it like my database password. Maybe my application needs to connect to the database, and then maybe my database password is something like this. Yeah, there we go. That's not my database password, but I wish it was. And maybe it's something like this. And again, you don't want to put this password in your code, but you can set up your application to, at runtime, you know, make reach out to parameter store and set this as an environment variable on the server that can be used when the application runs or something. So it's really, really nice for that. There's also a tool called Secrets Manager that does not live in here. And I get this question all the time, and there's always discussion about, oh, well, why wouldn't you manage your secrets in Secrets Manager? One, if you dive into it, Secrets Manager does not provide any additional value. I mean, I have not found any additional value that Secrets Manager provides that this does not provide. It is not more secure. It is just added the word secrets to it to make you feel better about it. These can be encrypted. In parameter store, things can be encrypted. There's really nothing besides this piece. Rotation, easy key rotation. If you want your key to, after 90 days, you want a new key to be generated, maybe. They're harder to retrieve. So basically to retrieve them, you got to retrieve them via, it's a little JSON payload. So it comes back as JSON, and then you have to parse out that data, which is really annoying. Maybe that's changed, but since I've used it, it didn't provide much benefit. We still use it for a number of things, but it's really weird. It's very weird. But yeah. Oh, is my sound back? I hope my sound's back. I didn't see that. Can you manage them on the server? Yes, you can. Yes, you can manage these things on the server. You can pull them down the server, and actually, maybe at the end I'll show you how you can grab this stuff and what it looks like when you pull down a secret or when you pull down something from parameter store, and how you can inject it either into your application or how you would set that up. Normally, a lot of times what you'll do is you will pull that thing down and set it as an environment variable on the server, as a local environment variable, and then you'll set up your application to use that environment variable as as the database string or whatever. But yeah, you were literally Googling that question. Yeah, 100%. It's the number one question. I remember when it came out, I was like, what like, does that mean parameter store is not secure? And that's the reason why, if you go back to Systems Manager, if you go back to it and you look at what it says underneath parameter store, it still talks about secrets. It's because it's not insecure. It has the same level of security. It talks about secrets in here as well. But they kind of wanted to, at first, they wanted to section it off, I think, into its own thing. But yeah, it's parameter store is honestly just easier to use, for me at least, in my experience so far. But yeah, what else is here in Systems Manager? The automation, the maintenance window stuff. Run command is nice. Again, this is good if you want to just kick off. Maybe you're not doing updates. Maybe something weird happened. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you need to, on all of the servers that you have that, those 300 servers you need to update. Maybe you just need to run a real quick find and replace to replace a bunch of file names or something. What this will allow you to do is you can go ahead and you can run a command on a server. Now, I don't know. There's a bunch of options here, so it seems like you can apply more than one thing. I've never used any of these except for to run a bash script, or run a remote script, run shell script. That's all I've ever done. Use this for, and you can write yourself a little run command, and you select the servers that you want it to run on. So again, you can select tags and things like that, and you can write your little shell script down here that you want it to do. And you might want to say, hey, go ahead and again find all the files that match star.json, and I want you to read, I want you to zargs them to, I don't know, you just write a bunch of crap that you want it to do, and it's just Linux stuff. And so you can again apply a big change to a lot of servers at once. Again, it gives you some quick functionality that something like Chef or Puppet or Ansible gives you. That like Chef, Puppet, or Ansible gives you. The problem is those are things that you get this default out of the box, because AWS has access to kind of go into your stuff. because they're networked in, you're underneath the ecosystem. You don't need an extra tool to do it. You can use this. Now, do I think it's better? No, but I think it's a viable option for things, for a lot of things like that, for the management of lots of servers. The one weird thing is I assume that you're probably using something to manage all those servers anyway, but hey, we use this today because we use ECS for our container management, and that doesn't give us any type of flexibility to do any type of underlying host management. And so we use this whenever we do need to do some type of host management. We use this because we prefer to have a we don't like runtime configuration of servers, so we build a golden image. We use Packer to build our AMI beforehand, and then we deploy it. And so the problem is that's a time-consuming process to not only build but to deploy, to replace all those servers. It can be time-consuming. So if you need to make a small change, you can do it through here. Write your little script, do a little test, and then send the changes out to everything that you need, which is really nice. Okay. State Manager. So I haven't gotten to use State Manager yet. I want to check this out. So we talked about, I never remember if we talked about it here or if we talked about it in pipelines, but when we talked about configuration management and we talked about how those things prevent configuration drift, the systems manager, state manager, allows you to manage, again, the state of your servers and services so that you can ensure that they are either correct or wrong and get them back in order. Cloudformation, we did talk about this during the Cloudformation lab. It provides a bit of this as well. It provides a bit of configuration drift, a state management processing, but yeah, it's in there. That's just an extra thing. Patch manager, everything else, all these are just little things that will help you. Change calendar, I don't know what this is because it's new. Control changes to your AWS resources with a change calendar. So looks like you can feels like a cron but on a calendar instead. Great. Again, they always have something new for you to do. Always. It's really weird. Okay, here's what we will do now. Because we're kind of done with systems manager, real quick, we will set up a billing alarm and just kind of show you the breakdown of billing. One of the big things I wanted to talk to you about is kind of the account structure, because this it didn't throw me for a loop, but like it when you get into the solutions architect, associate, and pro, they'll start to talk to you about kind of the organizational structure and the way kind of people do things. But yeah, we'll just dive into it. So when you click the drop down here, you are in your AWS account. This is the master AWS account that you have. Well, maybe we're not using master anymore. This is the default. It's the main one that we are using. And we also, underneath here, if we click on my organization, you can do something. This is what most companies do, is there's a best practice for this, for creating an organizational structure around your AWS account and your AWS services. And you might say, oh, like, wouldn't a company have an AWS account that was, that is managed, and everything, you do everything inside of that one AWS account? No, generally you would set up an organization, because it will allow you to centralize, again, policy-based access control. So this organization will allow you to set up these policies that allow people into places, out of places. It's a good way for you to manage things holistically. And then what you would do is you would have multiple AWS accounts underneath that. And you might say, multiple AWS accounts, what would I do with that? And so a lot of times you might have an AWS account for all the things that your billing department needs to run its services. So your billing department might be running, all kinds of some type of calendar app, some type of, processing app, some type of tax app, and that you're running inside of one account. And then your development team might have a different, completely separate AWS account. And then maybe, a whole different, your marketing people might have an entirely different AWS account to to one, help with security. So providing, being able to easily provide the people who needed access to the things that they need. That can get really difficult when you're trying to manage all that in a single AWS account. It can get very tough. You have to have lots of roles. You have to have lots of things that you have to manage to get that done. Whereas you can set up these accounts and you can set up 1 or 2 roles in each of them to allow people to have access to what they need. And it's you know, it's much easier to do, and you can give people access to different accounts and things like that, which is really nice. Another thing that you can do with this is you can also manage everyone from a single account. You can have one account that manages access, and then you can allow everyone from that one account to access other accounts by assuming a role. So instead of giving someone logins to 5 different accounts, you give them a login to one account, and then you can grant them access to every other environment, which is really nice. But it's just kind of a top-down infrastructure. So organization up top, and then any number of accounts, not any number, there's a limit, but any number of accounts right now can exist underneath of that one organization. And again, that organization just allows you to apply some of these access policies kind of across the board and consolidate these AWS accounts. So good to know. You don't need to set one up right now at all. But if you are working with a company, maybe you're at a company right now who's looking to get an AWS or something, and you're just starting out, an organization is where you're going to want to start, and setting and creating that organization and setting up the proper security and access practices from the organization level, and having those things propagate down through the accounts there. But billing is boring to me, but it's important. It's very important. And so you have, because billing is so important, because AWS cares about their money, and they also want you to know how much money you're paying them. Excuse me. We're helping make Bezos a trillionaire. There's an entire billing dashboard. Is there a playground for taking a look at those AWS services? AWS, it's the reason why they give you free tiers of almost every service. It's really just to hop in and look around and see. They have I'll find the page that shows you all the new services that have come along. But yeah, I think just about every AWS service that is meant for that, you don't need enterprise data for, allows some type of free tier access. That's the only place I know of. I actually think A Cloud Guru, I think if you get a membership to A Cloud Guru, I think they just announced actually that they have some type of cloud sandbox. So it may be a trade-off. If you don't think you're going to spend $30 a month in AWS credits, you maybe just want to go straight to AWS. But if you think you're going to benefit from their training, feel free to do that. It's good training for AWS, and I would recommend that after you're deep into AWS, I'd recommend paying for a membership to A Cloud Guru, because they release weekly updates on things that are going on with inside of AWS, changes that have been made, services you should know about, and that's work that I don't want to do, and they consolidate that for me. So I use them for that. Oh yeah, Linux Academy they're the same now. A Cloud Guru purchased Linux Academy, so yeah. Okay, last piece, billing. That's where we were. Billing alarm, billing dashboard. So you can see in the billing dashboard, it takes you right to the meat and potatoes of what's going on. It takes you right to your spending summary, and it shows you what you spent in the past and what you're going to spend today, or the forecast for the current month. So this is kind of what I spent before, and this is what I'm spending now. So you see that? You see those big numbers there? This is why I appreciate the, Wonton. I thank you so much for the subs, because your boy is going broke in AWS. Nah, I'm joking. I'm not going broke. I still have a full-time job, but it's possible for it not to be cheap. This month in particular was, mostly expensive because of all the EC2 instances. And we purchased a domain yesterday. Or on Monday, we purchased a domain, so that's $32. That adds a significant portion of the bill, 1/3 of it. So I wouldn't sweat that. I have four hosted zones inside of Route 53. We just talked about Route 53. we talked about those being 50 cents a piece, so $2 a month for that. I didn't even know that I had a light sale instance up, so this is nice. I need to go check that out. I don't think I need that. And other services, things like S3. Remember I told you S3 for me is probably around $1 per month, and you can see that down at the bottom. EC2 is killing me. It's killing me. I need to shut some stuff down. But you get the Cost Explorer right up here. I'll click on that in a second. It'll help you dive deeper into what you are doing. And so it'll just give you a bunch of information about your spend, a breakdown of your spend, and you click on bill details to really find out what's happening here if you want to get a little more granular. And so if you look at this, it shows you things about your payments, and then again, it allows you to dive in and see where the services are that you are spinning things up. So looks like I have a T2 small running in Oregon, and I want to say that's my wife's server, so I will leave that. But you know, I spent a fair amount, you know, on US East, T2 micros. I'm well past my limit. I was out of my limit, you know, first or second month of the year. But yeah, kind of expensive for, you know, whatever we're doing. Registrar, I bought something. Look at this, S3, 9 cents. 9 cents. 9 cents. You know, super duper easy. And look at this. You know, I got some requests, you know. I got a couple requests. That's nice. And this is how much space that I have just in there, and that's really all I got charged for, because all this stuff is you know, super duper cheap, not even a cent. So that's why S3 is very cheap. And if I can, I will build and do things in a manner that can be where I can utilize the cheaper services like S3 or Lambda, because again, it can be very, very cost effective for what you're trying to do. And so that is a little bit of your, this is not the Cost Explorer. This is just a breakdown. This is the bill summary. If you want to see it, you can go back and get, you know, previous bills as well. So I can go back in previous months and see where the spend was. Check this out though. If I go back to like February, look how much cheaper my bill is. Yeah, $27. We need to go back there. We just been doing too much cloud stuff, but it's kind of gone up as the months have gone along, as we kind of mess around with things, but no big deal. Really not a big deal at all. It's a good thing actually. But there are a bunch of other things that you can do in here, like set budgets and create reports. So this is a very important piece of the cloud. A lot of people really harp on the technical aspects of the cloud, but what people need to do is you need to be familiar with budgeting in the cloud, and you need to be familiar with how you can manage your money within the cloud. It's very important to companies. It's also very important because your bill can run away from you. You know, the cloud can be cheaper in a lot of scenarios, but it also can be much more expensive in every other scenario. And that's very important to know, and you got to be smart about it. You can't just click on things and do things. You know, it's a pay to play thing. It's, you pay for what you use. Some things are very cheap, some things aren't. And Amazon's very smart about what they make free or very cheap and what they make very expensive. They basically, you know, they give those complimentary things, they make them pretty expensive, things that you kind of need, and it can get really, really annoying. But yeah, so you can set up a budget here, you know, cost, usage, reservation, or savings plan. And so these are just different tools that allow you to, you know, manage what's going on. You know, you can base it off of last month's. You can make a budget for this month if you want to make a budget for this month. And if that happens, I think when you get to the threshold, okay, you just receive alerts. I was gonna say, I think you can also set it up to, I believe you can set it up to also like take some action on services. Like I think you can enable some services to be, you know, terminated once you hit a predefined, you know, threshold, but I'm not sure about that. Billing preferences and things like that. That's just, you know, your pretty simple. It's just where you're gonna put your credit card information and stuff like that. But let's go to the Cost Explorer. Cost Explorer is a little more in-depth, a lot more in-depth actually, to allow you to dig deeper in what you spent and why you spent it. This is a great tool, again, for auditing purposes, for auditing, you know, why you did what you did, and where you can save some money, the breakdown of the different things. So, you know, my cost in previous months has, you know, been EC2 instances. I spent more in EC2 instances in February than any other month, including this month. But now my spend for this month includes many other factors, and it gives you a nice breakdown. It gives you a way to analyze certain things and see exactly what you did and why you did it. Maybe not why you did it, but you know, it gives you that information. And again, while for somebody like me, your personal account, this is probably not that important. Well, we're talking about working for companies that have, you know, 5 to 6 digit monthly spends on AWS bills. You know, they're absolutely companies spending 30, 40, 50,000, $100,000 in monthly AWS bills. And you may be someone who has to look at those things. Even if a company is spending 4 or 5,000, the breakdown of those services can be very interesting. You can absolutely come in and save a company who's spending 5 or 6,000. You may be able to save them half of that money, being able to go through the cost explorer and identifying some of those things. So I don't know, just not, you know, I think it's a visual tool, so I would just get familiar with it. I'm not a pro at Cost Explorer, but I can get the information that I need. Again, you can generate reports, which is super nice. I'm going to be utilizing this as, you know, as I move into my own business. I'm going to be taking my AWS bill a lot more seriously when, you know, $107 to a full-time entrepreneur might be problematic. So, you know, got to pinch those pennies everywhere we can pinch them when the time comes. But, yeah, it's just another place you can go to find out information. But let's go ahead and set up let me see if I can remember how to do this by hand. Let's just set up a billing alarm really quick, because this is probably something I should have had you do first thing. You know, like very first thing, to basically let you know if you're spending more than the free that I told you this would originally cost. But yeah, let's see if we can, this is no longer an email, so maybe I should, let me change this actually. So for people who don't know, the original streams that we did, this was going to be purely just a cloud computing workshop. And so it was actually called Curated Cloud and not Mastermind.io. This is not a thing anymore. I actually don't even think I own this domain anymore. But I will change that. But let's see if we can find out. I don't really remember how to do this by hand. Actually, let's Google it. AWS setup billing alarm. I know it's really easy. Create a billing alarm. It's their #1 doc right here. So we'll hop in and we'll make that. But after that, this will take almost no time. Ask your questions. That'll be really it. Like I said, today was a pretty chill day. Really more conceptual around the things that these 3 services cover. Knowing some of the intricacies, I think, helps you kind of understand what they do, but not important that you are experts at any of them. Where's 1 through 9 of your series of broadcasts of this? They're on YouTube. They should all be there. Yep. I think I launched all the other ones last night. I think it should be 1 through 12 on there, or I don't think 13's on there yet. Past employer, there was a broken cleanup script for EBS snapshots. I fixed the 1-line bug and our bill dropped $15K a month. CK Darby. Absolutely. The problem is, you know, those companies never give you your due credit, but absolutely, that is that's a very, it's a valuable thing, and it's very common. It's very common for, you know, things happen, things get broken along the way, things change, and if you don't have, you know, if you're not, no one is checking these cost tables, if no one is exploring what's going on, you know, with your increased costs, so many services can run away like this. You know, I mean, we cut, you know, not a significant portion of our bill, but like, you know, you can cut from a company's bill, you know, a couple $100 a month by, you know, shutting down some instances at night or something, and you can like it's there's so many ways to save money, and being able to get the information about where the spend is going, a breakdown on where the spend is going, really helps you identify those things, because it probably becomes pretty clear to see, like you're like, oh man, like why are we spending 15K on EBS costs? It's like, oh man, we got a billion giant snapshots in here, and you're paying for that space. That's 15K is a lot, but that's pretty dope. Definitely dope. There's another issue with storing logs in S3 where we didn't set it to infrequent access. Yep, lifecycle management saved us a bunch of money as well. When we enabled it, saved us a lot. Yep, before, that's why some people at the beginning, someone asked about, I think A asked about, you know, how often I use intelligent tiering, and I was like, honestly, not yet, because we set up, you know, those lifecycle policies by hand, which work just as well. Like intelligent tiering is just lifecycle policies with a little bit of machine learning. So yeah, learning how to manage billing. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're just learning a couple of services in AWS. Right now we're learning about managing our billing inside of Amazon Web Services. And so let's create a billing alarm to monitor our estimated charges. So you can follow along with this. If you're gonna be messing around with AWS, I highly encourage you set one of these up. You can modify it later, but I highly encourage you going through and doing this. So you can monitor your estimated AWS charges. We already know about that using Amazon Cloudwatch. You can enable monitoring, and it'll on specifically estimated charges. So the good thing about monitoring estimated charges is it doesn't mean that that's how much you owe now. It is those estimated charges again are an estimation, and they can be off, and you know, you may be able to intervene before something before your bill really gets to where you're uncomfortable with it. So billing metric data is stored in US East region. Oh, I didn't know that. So it sounds like all billing information is stored in Northern Virginia. Cool. Alarm triggers when your account billing exceeds the threshold. We talked about that as well. So task, enable billing alerts. Let's click on that. Sign in. It says you must be signed in using account root user credentials or as an IAM user that has been given permission to view billing information. So if you're not logged in as the root account user, I am logged in as my root account user, but we talked about during the IAM section that that's kind of frowned upon. I said it's probably okay for your own personal account, but if you're signed in as an IAM user rather than your root user, then you may need to go add some permissions for that user. You may need to give them full I think administrator access doesn't include billing stuff, so you might need to go into IAM and give your user some a way to view the billing stuff, or log in as a root user. That's pretty important. Cool. So we got to enable monitoring for estimated charges. So it says open up the billing and cost management console. So that's the link here. I will share this. If you're logged in, it'll take you right to where you need to go. And once you're here, let's see what it says. Navigate to billing preference. That's where I went. That's where, you know, that's exactly where I went. So I was on a roll. And it says receive billing alerts. I think it says what it enabled. Yep, and save preference. So we did that. So that enables it. That allows you to be able to start receiving these things. Cool. And I guess from here you could probably just click this manage billing alerts. That seems like the place to go. So you would click this receive billing alerts to enable it, and then you'd manage this one. Can I get the link again? Yes. Copy, paste. That should work. Yeah, it should work if you're logged in. So yeah, after you click on receive the billing alerts, go ahead and just click manage billing alerts here. I should read through the rest of the through this, but like we'll be fine. I hope we'll be fine. Oh, now we'll read through it because I don't know what I already set up and what it's going to tell us to do. So create a billing alarm. That's what we need to do. Important. Before you can create a billing alarm, you must enable billing alerts. That is what we just did by clicking that button. Yeah, you definitely need permissions. Definitely need them. but you can create a billing alarm in the account. So we've already enabled the billing alert. Now we can create an alarm because you can't alert anyone. You can't send out that message until you enable it. So if we want to create one, we just go down here. Actually, I'll send everyone this if they want to go along not with me. If you want to go ahead, if you're behind, follow the walkthrough. It's a pretty solid walkthrough. It tells you exactly what to do. So it takes us to the Cloudwatch console. Cloudwatch is the tool that is going to handle alarms. So so you can start to make that connection there. So we are going to use Cloudwatch. If necessary, change the region to US East. So I guess you have to be in US East. So let's check that out. What happens if we go to Cloudwatch alarms, but we're in a different, let's go to Oregon. Is it not going to allow the creation, or is it just not going to allow? Yes, look at this. Services. I wonder. No, I don't see billing here, but if I click on billing, yes, check that out. If I click billing over on the left, it does in fact tell me, hey, you can't do that from this region. I need you to switch over to a different region, to US East region to view billing metrics. So we'll go right on back. Yes, billing should be global. Billing is global. They will bill you no matter where you are. But when we were reading earlier in this, it said that I didn't know that. This is something good for me to know. I wonder if this is an exam question, because I did not know this. But it says billing metric data, specifically billing metrics data, is all stored in US East. So I guess everyone's billing metric data is stored here. So yes, very, very interesting. Learn something new every day. Forward. So billing does not require a region. So this is global for your actual billing console, but when you want to do any of the Cloudwatch metrics, you got to do it through here. So what you'll do here is in billing, you'll click create an alarm. All right. And you will select the metric and you will click billing. So let's do that again. From Cloudwatch, as long as you're in the Northern Virginia region, you'll click billing, create alarm, select the metric. And so now it's gonna, just like any other Cloudwatch metric, we're gonna need to go in here and we're gonna go into billing. Billing is the service that we care about here. And total estimated charge is the one that you're gonna wanna pick. And then it gives you a drop down for the type of currency you want to use. I don't know how to change it, but US dollars is what they give me. Don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can change that. Because it's all done in US East 1 region. I wonder if that's, I don't know. Maybe it does your brow. I don't know what it does. I don't know. Maybe it does off your address or something. But you got to do it in US dollars. And once you click select the metric, now it's basically now setting up a space in Cloudwatch for it to gather information about that metric. But statistic maximum, I don't remember what statistic means for this. You can set the period for the threshold of when it should alarm. 6 hours is default. I will leave it right there for now. Not a big deal. Because again, it's estimated charges. So as you do things, some stuff can change. But yeah, static threshold. And this is where you're going to set up the scenario in which this thing alarms. So you can do greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And so you can set your stuff here. So you can say, hey, I want you to alarm as long as, like, because you may say, hey, I do a lot of stuff in AWS, and if my AWS bill is not at least $500 a month, something's wrong. I should be $500 a month immediately to make sure the stuff that I'm running is running. So maybe you want to select that. I don't know why you would want to select that, but again, you can select greater than is usually what you'll select. I can say greater than or equal to, $10. If I want to check and make sure that my bill is not more than $10, I will check that 10. You can do some additional configuration. Define the number of data points within the evaluation period that must be breached. Leave this on 1-to-1. So this is something for something like CPU usage or something. So, you know, something that fluctuates a lot. You don't want it to like hit 70% and then just alarm. You might want to say, hey, only alarm when this, you know, crosses that threshold, you know, 4 times, or stays above that threshold for, again, 5 minutes or something like that. So this just gives you some granularity on when the alerting happens. You don't want to be alerted falsely, because you want to be intentional about these alerts and these alarms. You should set one, and you should adjust it over time. The reason you should adjust it over time is due to something called alert fatigue. Just like anything else in life, you can be, you know, if you're seeing these alerts all the time and they're generally not important, you've determined that, hey, it's not really a thing, we just never adjusted this thing, you'll start to ignore all the alerts. You won't just ignore some, you'll start to ignore all of them, and you'll start to miss things that are important. Very common problem just about everywhere. But it's something you should be cognizant about to try to do something about it. But you know, ain't really much you can do besides making sure you go in and adjust your thresholds for things accordingly as your application evolves throughout a project. So here you can treat missing data as just missing. So if it cannot get data about how much money you think you're gonna owe, it's just treated as missing data, and this will likely put it in the insufficient column. Treat missing data as good. So if you're saying, hey, no data coming through, this is actually a good thing. This will not alarm you. This will not breach your threshold. But if it's bad, it will cause alarms to happen if the data is missing. This one will maintain the alarm state. The ignore it basically will keep the alarm kind of as current. So yes, but this one I think there's an insufficient, the yellow that was in there was basically saying, hey, I don't have enough data to do anything with this. So that might be what that is. But you can leave it here as missing. Your billing information will be there. And now here's where the alarm notifies you. So we're setting up the actual space for the alarm, but the alarm itself just alarms inside of AWS. It does not notify you by default. And here's where you can set up those notifications, and this is probably the most important part. So define the alarm state that will trigger this action. And so I want to only alert when, you know, I'm here. And so going back to the other page, this is where some of those other options make a little more sense. When we're talking about doing like a lower than or lower, so maybe I want to be, maybe I want to be alerted, but maybe I want to set up a metric or an alarm that sets up so it says, hey, whenever whenever this gets back down for some reason, I don't know how I would do that, gets back down to $50, lower than $50, then go ahead and move that back to the okay state and alert me on the okay state, or only send me a message when it's in an okay state, and don't send me a message when it's alarming. So you have some options here on when it sends you messages. These are really the only 3 states in which you can live in: red, green, yellow. Cool. And this is where you subscribe to something called an SNS topic. Yeah, and so SNS topic, simple notification service. This is a service where you can subscribe to these specific topics that will basically subscribe you to a specific notification, and we can run through and set that up in a second. Any questions about what we've gone over so far? You got into the right account and you owe 3 cents. I'm sorry about that. I said it was gonna be free. I wonder what you owe. I'm interested in what you owe those 3 cents for. I'm very interested in what you owe those 3 cents for. For EC2. That's interesting. Did you leave something running? I left something running. No bucket is necessary for this, but it makes sense that AWS has to store their data somewhere. Yeah. Yes, it does make sense. So it makes sense they have to store it somewhere. I don't necessarily think it seems weird that it's only accessible from for one place. But I don't know. I get, yeah, it makes sense. What does period mean again? Oh, so the period that the period here is going to be the it's going to be the length of time that it's going to that the amount of data points you set for failure can alert in. So it's going to check for a 6-hour period, and if there's a single, it's not going to alarm until in that 6-hour period there's an alert. It gets a little confusing. For this, it doesn't really matter. You should leave it default 6 hours. It's fine. This alarms like this, the period doesn't really matter quite as much, because once you hit that one data point, it's going to alarm for you. And for something like this, your bill's not really going to go back down, so it's not going to get out of the alarm state. So for a 6-hour period, if this was CPU usage, it would say, hey, measure over the 6-hour period for 5 data points that cross this threshold. If it does, go ahead and alert for me. But if it's no longer doing that over a 6-hour period, if I only have 3 times where the CPU went over this threshold, the alarm will go back to an okay state. And so that period is the interval in which you want to measure over. So it's it doesn't really apply quite as much for the billing. Yeah, Baldwin, perfect. Yep. You want to adjust the period accordingly. Like I said, for billing, for the billing alarm, doesn't quite apply as much. I'll leave it right on 6 hours, change it to whatever. And I'm gonna say greater than, put it at whatever amount of money you do not want to spend. Put it there. So if I'm like, hey, my budget is $10 a month, $15 a month, you set the greater than or equal to, or greater than, either one. And you go ahead and put your dollar amount here. Go to next. And the SNS topic is what we're gonna need to set up next. And let's go down to for selecting SNS topic, select an SNS topic to notify the alarm when it's in an alarm state, or create a new one to be notified. So we're going to create a new one really quick. To have the alarm sent to multiple notifications for the same alarm state, or for different alarm states, choose add notification. So we can choose, we can make it send to multiple different topics at once. So we're going to create a new topic. And so we can just say, be very descriptive here. It says default Cloudwatch alarm topic. I'm going to say Horizons, billing topic, whatever, you call it whatever you want. And then the email endpoint that's going to receive the notification. And so you're going to put your email in there. And so I can put in, if I wanted to get everything, I can put in like info@mastermind.io. And I can go ahead and I can create this topic. And basically this is where it's going to alert to. These topics, again, can also be used to set up to send to places like Slack, to places like Discord as well. So there's some pretty cool ways. There's also a lot of cool integrations to make that happen. It's pretty easy. It's pretty nice. And I'll click next. I'll give the alarm a name. Horizons max billing. You can give it a description, whatever you want that to be, and then you click next, and immediately it's going to put this into an alarm state. It's going to give me insufficient data for a little bit. It's going to pin confirmation. It's pending confirmation. It's going to pin confirmation because it's not going to try to send out to an email that does not exist. So I think I have to approve my email address first through here. And so I've curated cloud my old email address. I need to go in and do this here, and let me do this off screen. I don't even know if info is set up for me, but if it is, it is. So I'll send you a little email that looks like this. I think you can see that. Send you a little email, a click to confirm, and I'll confirm that subscription. And it says, hey, you've been subscribed to know what's going on here. And once you confirm that subscription, and everything's all good. You can probably refresh this page and see that it's no longer pending. It's confirmed now. And if you go back to Cloudwatch, so go back to the Cloudwatch service, immediately it goes into an alarm state. Why does it go into alarm state? Because I said, hey, as long as you're over $15, go ahead and send some stuff out to me. And annoyingly, you know, I'm well over that $15 threshold. Did I receive an email already? Let's find out. And I did in fact receive an email that looks like this. Some information about my account. The alarm limit you set was $15. Your total estimated charges for this billing period are currently $73.65 as of this date. And so now I know that I am going to be broke if I do not make some changes, and I can go in and I can make some changes. And how do I know what changes to make? I need to, you know, go to the cost explorer. I need to figure out what it is that what it is that I need to change. Now I have some extra stuff, which is very, very annoying. Gotta keep an alarm for EC2 usage because I always leave stuff running. Yeah, 100%. I need to set up some alarms right now. I've been super lazy, but the reason I've been super lazy with that is because as I move forward with you know, full-time entrepreneurship, I'm going to be automating everything to make my life easier. And so all of the management of my AWS accounts, all of everything I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be codifying literally everything. So all of my SNS topics, all of my alarms are going to be set up via either Terraform or Cloudformation, probably Terraform. You know, we'll see which route I decide to go down, but everything will be documented, everything. And so that's the reason I don't have anything in here yet. I keep saying I'm going to do it now. It's the dates are rapidly approaching and I need to get on it, but I do need to set up some alarms for that. I'm also working on a way to create well, I'll let the cat out of the bag now. I'm working on some ways to, a lot of other organizations do this. Again, it's Linux Academy does it. I'm seeing if there's a way to set up basically a sandbox account. Obviously I would have to pay for it. I'm actually going to see if they trying to get AWS to sponsor that sandbox environment, but so that people would not have to, you know, put in their credit card and do everything else. Like if you're going to a workshop, you can grab these little logins to, you know, a federated account inside of an account that's managed as a sandbox account. So trying to figure those things out right now. I'm seeing how feasible it is, seeing if it's possible. You know, anything's possible, you know. So you know, we're figuring that out right now. A lot of stuff going on to try to make all that happen. Yeah, try to make all that happen. I would really like for you all not to have to pay for a damn thing ever again. So yeah. Any idea when you're gonna do some Terraform streams? Great question. Yes. Yes. Hold on, let me read your other questions first, and I'll give you some information about that. We'll love to see your process for taking pre-existing AWS account and migrating it to Terraform. That's actually perfect. I will for Terraform Minicamp. Perfect. So I prefer Terraform, but I'm better at Cloudformation just because I've had more opportunity to run Cloudformation. So going through Terraform, I know more than enough to get me off the ground here, and I know a lot about infrastructure as code as well. I think it would be fun because I have some stuff in here that I'm willing to completely share and talk about. I think that's something we can do literally as soon as these boot camps are done. So I can start planning that, you know, to be, you know, maybe the week after these boot camps are done. We'll start pipelines back up. And we can run those as well along with pipelines, kind of building things. And I think that's going to be the fun stuff, like getting into this to a schedule where we are both doing boot camps and doing things where we are implementing boot camp stuff at the same time. So building tools, building services, building applications, building infrastructure. But yeah, 100%. I think that's a great idea. Taking what we have and terraforming it, seeing how clean we can get with it. 100%. I'll get into that right now, and I'll try to get you some information about it pretty soon, because I think that's a great idea. There'll be a lot of mini camps for a lot of things. One of the biggest ones that I'm trying to run is a Docker. The Docker and Kubernetes one will probably be split, but like a Docker minicamp and then a Kubernetes one as well. But that's going to be a bigger event. Like I said, I'm in talks right now. That's going to be a much bigger event than that's the only reason I haven't done it yet. It's been the thing that people ask about the most, like, yo, when are you redoing Docker? When are you doing Docker again? When are you doing Docker again? We will a Docker minicamp where, you know, I think one of the big things that we miss out on whenever we do Docker minicamps like that is kind of Dockerizing an application. So like reverse engineering an application to be put into Docker, basically, more so than just writing a Docker file. I think it's something that we're going to try to add into that as well. I'm looking at my email and I do not see one that was sent. Ugh. Yeah, go straight to junk. See, I mean, hey, it is, you know, Amazon is kind of junky, you know, junk stuff. So, you know, your email service is strong. Your spam is trying to protect you. How's the pricing of a VPS compared to cloud computing? So, yes. So, VPS is a virtual private server, and so Amazon does have their own VPS offering called Lightsail. And apparently, I have a Lightsail instance. I have no idea what's on this Lightsail instance. Literally zero idea. Oh, I think this is something we set up to just talk about. Oh, what is this? I'm gonna shut this down because it's costing me money. All right, what is a VPS? A VPS is it's a virtualized computing instance. It is, and for all intents and purposes, it is an EC2 instance. But EC2 is a little bit different in that EC2 prioritizes the offering of the physical compute capacity and memory, and that could be separated from the storage, and that's what makes EC2 a little different. A VPS is basically it's a rented server. It's a rented virtualized server. So the same way I'm running a virtual machine on here now. I say, all right, everyone, I'll give you a virtualized computing instance with, you know, a dedicated amount of storage, a dedicated amount of CPU, a dedicated amount of RAM, and you will pay me monthly for that. So it's a static price. I think you can get it for, like, Lightsail is their thing. It makes it a little bit easier. So it's not as complicated again as EC2. EC2 has a lot of extra features, even though it, for all intents and purposes, a complete EC2 instance is kind of the same thing as a VPS, to be 100% honest. But again, it has some extra stuff in there. But they're very easy to spin up. So if you go to something like DigitalOcean and you grab a DigitalOcean droplet, that's a VPS. Linode, all the web hosting companies basically are giving you these VPSs, these virtual private servers, these virtualized servers and services. So it can be kind of confusing to know the difference, but they're pretty easy to spin up. They're usually pretty cheap. They usually start around $5 a month. So it starts at $3.50 on AWS. So cheaper than your EC2 instance. So if you want to practice, this is what I usually tell people to do if they want to practice their Linux or something and they don't want to install Linux locally, and they kind of want to start to set up services and stuff. I tell them to go grab a VPS because it's just simple, and this is what you get for it. Like, you just get this, and it's a server. It is simply a server. Without all the extra features. And so they have some of the cool stuff, like they have snapshotting that you can do, which makes it nice. You still have to use keys and stuff, but they also give you these little, like, apps, which is like really just the AMI that you're going to be using to build these up. So like if you want to set up WordPress, you want to manage a WordPress site yourself, you can just grab one of these and put your data onto it, you know, without having to set that up, even though WordPress is not incredibly difficult to set up, but certainly an option to do. I might show people how to do that one day, because a lot of people want to run their own WordPress sites. However I feel about WordPress, it is, you know, it's probably the most used content management platform on the planet. So it has some value. Maybe we'll do something with WordPress one day. But yeah, that's the only difference there. Cloud backup solutions. I don't really know. For a while, I just used S3. Cloud backup solutions, I So half of my stuff goes in Google Drive. The other half goes into something called SpiderOak, which is a zero knowledge backup service. I don't know that much about backup services, to be 100% honest. SpiderOak has been great for me to sync multiple computers. And like I said, I also use Google Cloud as well. I mean, Google Drive as well. But yeah, no real solutions there. Nginx implementation, like after you break a monolith into microservices, but the backend uses the same port. I have some. I do have. It's not off topic. I mean, we're not really. We're kind of done with the things that we were doing. I do have some example config. I have a lot of configs. I'll see what I can dig up. I'll definitely see what I can dig up. But backend uses the same port. Yeah, there's some fun things you can do with proxying with that if you need to, or hope if the service will allow it. Changing the port is nice, or a second Nginx server, purely to you can do some interesting things with a second Nginx server to modify how the data is transferred as well, which is not it's a janky setup, definitely a janky setup. I do want to do more as a part of pipelines. Well, maybe not as a part of pipelines, but I would like to do a series a little more about diving deeper into things like that, into manual configuration of like the configuration of different services, and like kind of manually setting up a lot of these things. Like I said, I see a lot of people nowadays going straight to the automated resources to set things up, and then they have a hell of a time trying to do it because they don't know how to do it without that service. And so whenever they run into a problem and they need to go to Stack Overflow to implement the solution, they're not sure how that solution fits into the automated service that they're trying to do. Yeah, I think it's a well, I don't think it's a problem. I just think, to me, it just seems like a tough way to do things. It seems like a really hard way to do things. But maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I'm just an old, ornery individual. And I think that would be helpful. There's a lot of things I want to do. I also want you all to. I want to build a web app. I don't want to. We're gonna be building a number of web applications. I'm not a web developer, and so I'm gonna be learning how to be a better web developer. I'm not an incompetent web developer. I'm just not a good web developer. Like I don't really need to go learn HTML. No one's good at CSS. But I need to pick up some frameworks and stuff. But we're building some stuff, so you can see me kind of do that. But I think it's gonna be fun to kind of tie all of that into the stuff that I do know. I think it's gonna be fun. Good stuff. Thank you for what you do. AWS. How do you balance learning so much? Great. That's $1 million question. I want to transition from Windows sysadmin, learn programming, comp sci degree. Hey, that's what's up. Yes. 1000%. Learning everything. Learning on the job, it is a different paradigm from learning on your own. And so what I'll say is it's easier to learn when you're getting paid for it. So yes, for one, while you're trying to find a slot where you can grow and learn, or you're trying to find a job that you can grow and learn and be paid, to actually learn in a place that is providing some context around the tech, it is tough. It's tough when you're only focused on studying the things. It's extremely difficult. But I would say you only have to grind at that for a limited amount of time. Really put your energy into doing all that stuff, and get the first job. Or not even the first job. Get the job in the industry, in the field that you're looking to get into. And then I think it becomes a lot easier in that aspect, because again, you're getting a lot of the learning during the day when you're getting paid for it. When you're not really thinking about it, the paradigm is different. So you're not really thinking about it as I'm learning these skills. Think about it as like, hey, I'm trying to successfully complete my job to get paid for it. And I think that shift in mentality helps you to learn more out of work. So yeah, you learn a bunch of work, and then you might be able to come home and all right, tonight I learned a lot at work today, but I'll put in an hour and a half of learning this new topic. It's hard. Like that being said, like it's very difficult. I would say it's very difficult. You have to find the one, you have to find out how you learn best. That is the, until I found out how I learned best, it was always such a burden to go learn a new thing. You know, I don't learn, I didn't at the time learn well by reading books and documentation. I learned well by watching videos and getting comfortable. And I would go to, go to Starbucks, get a nice drink, I'll be there in my flip-flops, comfortable clothes, and I sit back and I would learn the stuff, and it wouldn't be that daunting. It wouldn't be that daunting at all, but you got to find the way that you like learning the best. And you gotta get into that flow of how you like learning. I think that's the first big thing. Two, you can't be too hard on yourself. If it takes you a while to get something, it takes you a while to get something. I think that's one of the biggest things. You generally can't contextualize on your own what how you're pacing and if you're doing a good job or not of picking up the stuff. So that can be kind of tough as well. But also, like, it can't be an all the time thing. Like, that is the reason why we take breaks in between the boot camps. You can't just go. You can't balance it that way at all. I don't think you can, at least unless you're a robot. But what's good is, you say you're trying to make a transition from Windows sysadmin. You don't need to learn all the stuff. Like, everyone thinks you need to learn all the stuff right up front. Yeah, all the stuff helps. But just pick one, start to get good at it. Like I said, lean on your skills. Someone will give you a job doing those things, and then that gives you the freedom to kind of pick up and learn more. And then, like I said, you can also use those jobs to like volunteer for positions or volunteer for projects within the company that are out of your wheelhouse, so that now you're going to get paid to focus your efforts onto something that you're not maybe so great at. And you get to, it might be tough, but you'll get to the end of it, and now you'll have another big tool for your tool belt. But it's daunting, 100% daunting, but take a step back. I think usually the saying is, again, you got to take a step back from the tree to see the whole forest or something. But I disagree in this case. I think you've got to step in from looking at the whole forest, like looking at all the massive amount of things that you think you need to learn. I think you need to step forward a little bit and take a look at the one individual tree and really kind of dive into one thing at a time. I'm not a pro at, I'm really good at a couple of things, and I kind of have very general basic knowledge of everything else. And, you can get by with all that 100%. But they want a mid to senior level or entry level with 5 years experience. That's very true. Context, I think, is the most important thing. And that is another reason why I'm actually spending time right now shifting all of the courses. The Intro to DevOps course will still remain the way that it is, because that has so much content that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, it's not going to make any sense to contextualize it there. Pipelines is where that's going to be contextualized. Those are actually going to be separate things. But for even this course, for next time we run this will not be to teach to the exam. This will be to fully contextualize all of it. The problem is it's very time consuming to do that, but especially for Decoded, it's going to be project-based learning, and not even project-based learning, more so scenario-based learning. Setting up, creating the scenario, like creating, hey, you are working here, working this is the project that you're going to be working on. This is what the company does. This is where you fit into that. This is where the work you're going to be doing fits into that. And now let's learn the pieces to kind of get there. And I think that's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot better when we get there. Like I said, it's just time consuming, but we're definitely getting there. Definitely gonna get there. You just got to ignore those job posts. The job posts are whack. I'm going to do everything in my power to help companies stop posting whack job posts. They're so stupid. They don't make any sense at all. I'm telling you, there's still job postings out there saying they want people with 10 years of Kubernetes experience. It's like, guys, like, nobody, what are you talking about? Like, why, who put that there? And who thought it was a good idea to put that there? And like, jobs that really don't need you to do much, you want, they want you to do simple, relatively simple web development, and they say, hey, we want someone with 8 years experience. For what? Why do you want that? Companies don't know what they want, to be honest. But ignore the job posts. apply to everything. To be 100% honest, it is very frustrating. What's up, Scoob Walk? You know, always got to have a cloudy stream going on. You know, it's hard. Yeah. So I agree. I learned best by throwing myself into the fire as well. But if you don't have the bandwidth, I agree. That's fair. That's very fair. It can be really tough when your responsibilities are taking a lot out of you. Trust me, I understand you on that one. Yeah, the only option though when that happens is to either find the time or to make the time by giving up some responsibilities or seeing if you can change responsibilities. But yeah. Yes, roadmap.sh is the best. I love roadmap.sh. That's what we use for the DevOps roadmaps, because I think this is one of the most well done DevOps breakdowns. I think it's thoughtful categorization, and I think it's thoughtful. I think it's a relatively thoughtful flow. And look, I just keep learning here, because you continuously have to learn. But you know, I promise you all, these concepts and things, it's amazing how like one day you be like, this thing that I was scared of, that I don't really think I know anything about, like I know just enough to be effective somewhere, and I can lean on the rest of my skills to be good at this stuff. So it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting feeling when you start to realize like, oh man, like I don't need to learn all this stuff. I don't need to be an expert at all these things, and that makes it easier to learn. I think it made it easier for me to learn, because you know, there wasn't so much pressure. It wasn't so much like I got to know this thing, I got to be a pro at it. I no longer sit down and like learn new technologies, well, unless I'm about to use them. What I do sit down and do is understand what problem they solve, and kind of high level how they work, because I think that for me, that's been a little bit more valuable. What are you going to build on AWS? Everything. I'll probably stick with AWS for a while for a lot of things. What are my plans to build on AWS? One, the first thing is to build, to finish out what we started out with, was it Quarantine, our Quarantine project, which is Cerebro. What we want to make is an open source course platform. So similar to maybe like a hybrid between your like code academies or something like that, but basically where anyone could come through and take all of the free content that's all on the internet, you know, videos, articles, podcast stuff, and make training courses, structured training courses on the site through markdown files, or through an actual editor using what are we using? Netlify CMS. Forestry might be another option as well. So you don't even need to have Git knowledge, but if you're an expert in something, again, if you're a rocket scientist, you can come in and you can create an entire course for people to be able to track their progress through. Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is that the internet is great. All the information is there, but it's not curated. That's originally why we call this curated cloud. You know, the information's already out there, but you know, you pick up one thing and you might not know what to do next. You're not really sure what steps to take. I think this is going to be an interesting way for people to come through and build out courses on their own. I think it's going to be fun, a fun little open source project. We're going to build that. Also want to build an open source, well, maybe not open source, but also going to be building a platform for transparent technical recruiting. One that has a completely open API, well, not open API, but an API for people to get their status and stuff, but where companies have to you know, update statuses every point along the way, so that there's no ambiguity about what's happening. You know, notes every 2 or 3 days, you know, status updates, so people can kind of see what's happening in real time. That's another one. Also, there is something going on called Hack Baltimore, and this is where a lot of the learning is going to come from for a lot of the stuff. Portal.hackbaltimore.io. Now, not necessarily that I'm fully tied to Hack Baltimore, but there's a portal that's literally a bunch of challenges that can be that can possibly be solved technically. And what this does is it basically gives real meaningful projects that we can do together, And we can do it in a way that we can act as though we are a genuinely real company, and we can go through and we can create real usable solutions for people, and we can learn a lot throughout these processes. So not only that, we can there's sponsorship opportunities for doing things like this, and so I don't know, I think it's gonna be kind of fun to do real world projects and build real world solutions, go through design phases, go through do real product management on these things, break them down properly and build out genuinely real software for people to actually use. Not only is that I think that's going to be valuable for for content and for a good learning thing. I also think I think there's a way to scale experience. I think there's a way to scale how many people can gain experience. Even if there's one person doing it, I think there's a way to scale how much experience you have. And there's more to what I'm saying here. I'm being very vague about this, but I think there's a way to go through things like this and for it to be legitimate, valuable experience for everyone who is a part of it. So we're just, we're having a little bit of fun. We're sky's the limit. We're trying out all this stuff. There's more to come about everything once I get a little bit more time. But yeah, are you going to use the AWS CI/CD tools? Maybe. I will probably use everything. Like, I'm not beholden to any tools. DevOps is my jam. So we can use the whole CloudStar pipeline, to code build, code deploy, all that stuff. We can try it out. Most CI/CD tools work very similarly, minus Jenkins. So yeah, we can run through and use those. I think every project, I think we're going to touch everything. Like, we're not going to be beholden for now, we're going to be beholden to AWS because I'm trying to build legitimate things. And I know AWS the best. And I think for time's sake, I think it's easier. But in the future, we'll be doing all kinds of other stuff with Azure, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, whatever. I think it'll be fun. Kind of like the Odin project. I don't know what the Odin project is, but that sounds cool. Yeah, actually, yes. Yes. So part of what I'm also working on, one of the biggest things I'm working on is that, this is great. This is actually a really good, thank you for telling me about this. Something to kind of see. The goal is to actually make these boot camps, have this much presence, have this much, be again as good as a $18,000 paid program. Why? The only reason is because I think that I think everyone deserves access to this. I think I just think everyone deserves access to it, and I think it'll be fun. This is really cool. This is really cool, and something that we can go through real time. With real legitimate, well thought out, projects and things like that. I think it's really cool. I'm gonna check out the Odin project. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm kind of hype about this now. I want to know who built it, why they built it, and how maybe I can not have to build something and maybe just use this. But yeah, we'll see. That looks pretty dope. So people can ask questions and keep up so the chat isn't moving too fast. Oh, are we in slow mode? Oh, are we in slow mode? Well, sure. Yeah, that's why. Yep. We do coder projects or DevOps projects, both. So we do so tonight is Horizons, which is our cloud computing track, but we're also doing a programming track on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we'll be doing, it's really weird when you say coding or DevOps projects. Again, I'm a little bit of a DevOps purist. It's all engineering to me, to be honest. I think they all fall in line. DevOps, I think, handles the full scope of the software development pipeline. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna be doing all of it. Every application and thing that you want to share with other people is gonna need to go through some form of these things. And I think we'll be doing, I think we'll be incorporating a lot of those DevOps projects, a lot of those DevOps principles into whatever dev project that we will be building, whatever application, that we will be building. But yeah, that is, for the most part, that is it. Are you documenting the journey of Mastermind? Great question. That's an excellent question. Not yet. I do plan on documenting the journey of it when I go full time, which again, it's going to be it's going to be in September. I don't know when I don't know if it's gonna be at the beginning of September or the end of September yet, but it's going to be in September. And a lot of information, so much information, trying to solidify. I'm really just trying to solidify the direction of a couple of things before I make a number of announcements about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and again the other pieces of this that you may be able to utilize to help you be great, because we're all gonna be great. It's all gonna be so fun. From the UK, trying to shift into a cloud role. What courses, skills would you recommend learning alongside Horizons? Yes, you fell right on it. I was gonna say absolutely Linux #1 is what I think you should learn. I think if you learn Linux and you take on some information about the cloud from these courses, I think that is everything that you need to get into a cloud role, to be 100% honest. But absolutely Linux and some Python. I think Python is the perfect programming language for you to pick up as well. We did a whole intro to Python bootcamp on YouTube. It is all on bootcamp. It's all on YouTube if you want to check it out. There's a whole playlist if you go to the YouTube channel. If you just do !YouTube. So yeah, but all the day in the life of Mastermind. So now we're not going to be, I promise you, one of the reasons why no YouTube videos besides these have gone up in a while is because, yes, I love YouTube. I watch tons of YouTube. There's a lot that goes on YouTube that I'm not going to be doing. There's a I got a style that I'm going to be implementing, and I also don't want that a lot of that stuff, the day in the life of Mastermind stuff, that will be on a different it'll be on a different channel. I'll probably be doing some personal branding as well as as Mastermind branding for the future, just so you all know that some of the future aspirations that I have is I'm really interested in diving into some public speaking, specifically some motivational speaking, to be 100% honest, putting out in the atmosphere right now. And so I'm going to be starting to do some personal branding around that, for the future. That's way down the line. But building my personal brand as well as a Mastermind brand. So all that information will, I'll share it. But I'm not going to be, I'm gonna find someone to edit those videos for me, though. That's the problem. I want to edit the Mastermind videos. I do not want to edit any day of the life videos. I don't have time for that. Humble Bundle is great. If anyone does not know about Humble Bundle, it is it's great if you play games. It's great if you read. What they do is they develop these bundles that you can pay whatever you want for, and if you pay a certain amount, you get you unlock more and more things. But they have a bunch of different bundles. So they have game bundles. That's generally what a lot of people buy. But they also have, look at this, secure your stuff. They have stuff for cybersecurity. They have stuff for a whole bunch of stuff, and software bundles. So you can get some software in there if you want to. But they generally have stuff that you can use to be great, and to learn a little bit more for very cheap. So check that out. So Humble Bundle is a way. What's up, Kid Queb? Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for the follows. Let me see who let me pull back up my my log of people of what's going on here, my activity feed. That's what it's called, because I missed it. Thank you, Kid Queb, so much for the raid. Thank you. Welcome everyone from Kid Queb's channel. What's up, Outermost House? Welcome, J.W. Welcome. I'm not cool. Yes, you are. You're the coolest. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. Again, appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. What were you all working on tonight? First off, shout out to Kid Queb. We hit up Kid Queb last night. He does some dope stuff. He builds all kinds of great apps. If you want to learn anything about JavaScript, TypeScript, or you want to watch how an application is built, definitely head over there and check that out as well. He does some cool streaming stuff. Kid Queb, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. That's a lot of love in one day. Shout out to you. I just did the shout out. Again, everyone go follow Kid Queb. You definitely do some dope stuff, build some real stuff that is is valuable, is usable. So welcome, Raiders. Welcome. Oh yeah, working on a book club app. I think that's what did you ever finish you were working on something a while ago. I'm trying to think, and it sounded really cool. I want to say it had to do with email. Yeah, the email digest one. Yep, that one. Did you ever finish that? I would love to check that out if you did. It sounded really cool. It's working. I love it. I love the quotes working. So everyone, as you can see, everything, everything's not going to be perfect. Everyone in Decoded, when you have all those options for writing things, the goal is to get it work, make it work, then make it right, then make it fast. That's how we live. That's how we live our lives. That's dope. That's pretty cool. Step 1, make it work. That is 100%. And Kid Webb said it is working, and he's using it in the real world, because now that you can see it working, you can take a step back, you can refactor, you can make some design decisions, and you can kind of, it's a growth process, just like your personal growth. Your application can do the same exact thing. So make it work first, then make it right, then make it fast. Or maybe, it depends on who you are and what you are. It depends on who you're serving, because sometimes if it's broken but it's fast, and it works most of the time, but it's fast, maybe that's what you want to do. What's up, Dr. Taleb? Welcome to the channel. But yeah, I think we were talking about, we're just kind of chatting around now. Tonight, we were learning about some different pieces of AWS, kind of wrapping up a lot of the things that we've learned throughout this course. Tonight, we learned a little bit about Cloudwatch, a little bit about Systems Manager, and a little bit about billing. Like I said, I think we've hit most of the core concepts of the things that we're going to learn for over this 8 weeks. This is the last day of the 7th week of 8 weeks. If anyone who just came over from Kid Webb, or anyone who doesn't know, next week, we are doing 2 panels. We're doing 2 engineering panels. On Wednesday, we're doing the one for this course. We are doing, we'll have some cloud engineers, people, DevOps, cloud, people who deal with AWS, on a daily basis, who you can come ask questions to, who you can hear stories from, because there are a lot of AWS horror stories. And then on that Thursday will be the software engineering panel, where you'll be able to come hear from different software engineers from different levels. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to be pretty fun. So definitely, definitely check it out. Dope. Yeah, that's what's up. I'm glad people are following. But yes, we were talking about, I forgot just that fast. We were talking about Humble Bundle. Yeah, Humble Bundle has some great stuff. Udemy has some great stuff. I highly recommend. So I grab different learning resources from everywhere, because again, I do like some videos. I like videos less and less nowadays, only because generally when I'm trying to learn something, time is of the essence. And I've gotten much better at reading technical documentation, or kind of of reading, so books might actually work better for me now. Again, videos are great for when I want to dive deep into a topic, when I really want to dive deep, but generally nowadays I'm not really diving quite as deep into things, because I think the diving deep will come as I'm using the thing. But I don't know, Udemy is great. Never buy anything off of Udemy if it's not on sale. If the sale is not happening, if it costs more than, I would say if it costs more than $15.99, I really want to say $12.99 is the most. Never spend more than $15.99 on a Udemy course. I love Udemy, but these, I don't know why they just don't make they should just make a flat rate, a clean flat rate of $12.99 for all their courses, and people will buy them up. I buy so many courses. We get $4,000 a year at my company, reimbursement for professional development. So you know how many courses you can buy at $13? I don't, but I have a calculator that does. Okay. Or I can write a Python script, or just do it in Python. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it in Python because, we like to just do stuff. We're gonna, this feels like something you're supposed to do on a coding stream, is instead of doing simple math in your head that I could probably do in my head, I'm not gonna do that in my head. I'm gonna drop right into Python, and I'm gonna say, all right, we have $4,000, and we're gonna divide that by $12.99. Yep. What do we get? That means I can buy 307 courses and almost 308 courses. I almost can afford another one, but I can't. All right. I can only buy 307 courses. That's a lot of courses. And so I do own a lot of courses inside of Udemy. Once you buy them once, you have them forever. So some services, like I said, I pay for A Cloud Guru. Again, every tool I use is for a specific reason. A Cloud Guru, one, because they constantly update information about AWS, and they have weekly outputs on what has changed inside of AWS, and there's some really great stuff in there, and their training is just phenomenal. So when I'm studying for exams as well, so I do pay monthly for that. I pay for Udemy. They have free stuff on there, yeah, as well, but they have really good paid stuff. I found some amazing videos on there. Excuse me. And like I said, I'm usually looking for a reason to spend my money, especially this year, because I'm not going to any conferences, because no one can go to conferences. I think everyone's looking to spend their money. Hey, actually, I just want you all to know that if any of you have companies that offer you professional training budgets, and you know, it's a lot of companies, people don't spend their training budget. I will happily, you know, run a course. Everyone can save their money. You can pool our money together, and I will happily run a course for you. You know, live course. You know, I can sit down with you and your coworkers, and we can learn some stuff together. But I just throw it out there. I thought about it on the spot, and I like to share. But yeah, I buy a lot of courses off of here because I like it. A Cloud Guru. And then I own a few like random like side courses, like Kinsey Dodds has a testing JavaScript course. Testing JavaScript course, which is really good. I'm gonna recommend this to everyone tomorrow. Well, the problem is you kind of already got to be pretty. He goes really fast. But if you're trying to, you know, understand testing, we're doing TDD, we're doing test-driven development tomorrow in Decoded if anyone's interested. But you know, I pay for that, or I paid for that. I don't know if I still have it. I'm pretty sure I still have it. I don't know. There are tons of resources, tons and tons of resources. But you know, those are the ones that I use. You know, find the ones that work. If you want to use a vid, I say set the speed to 2 to 3. Yeah, I think that's what I need to start doing. I think that's my problem. I think I need to start setting the speed faster. Setting for AWS, you don't need anything more than I'll check that out. Let's see. Stefan Marex. I don't know how to say that name, but let me see that this person makes some AWS. I'll check it out. Ultimate. I'll definitely check that out. I'll see how it compares to A Cloud Guru, because A Cloud Guru is pretty darn good. What's up, Fall T? Welcome to the channel. Tons of free resources, yeah, especially with COVID stuff. That is very true. Your company doesn't pay anything. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Like I said, I am wearing this is a Fearless shirt, and you know, even though I'm leaving Fearless pretty soon, relatively soon. You know, they will always hold the most special place in my heart, and it's always a place where I'll encourage everyone to go to, especially now that you probably don't need to be in Baltimore to work there. Hey, I'm just saying, if you want to work for an amazing company, I'm just saying. Hey, same. I didn't, you know, I zone out every time. It's pretty amazing, you know. It's always funny because I'm always like, sometimes I'm super tired and like right at 7, I'm like, ugh, today's gonna be tough. And then we hit 9:30 and I'm like, man, that was easy. I like hanging out with you all. You all are so kind. You all are so fun. You make jokes that I like to laugh at, and I think back later and I'm like, ha, remember that joke that person said in the chat? Haha, that was funny. And I have a good time thinking about that. And, you know, it's exciting. You guys add to my day, add to my life. All right, but that's it for tonight. It's 9:30. I'm gonna let you go. Congratulations, Horizoners, for finishing up week 7 strong. We have a single week left, and really, you have it's like the end of the school year. You only have one real class left. It's like only one real class left, and then after that, you can kind of chill. That last class is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a time for us to, you know, ask questions and have a great time. But congratulations. Come, anyone in Decoded, come tomorrow to learn about test-driven development. We're going to be writing some tests in both JavaScript and Python, maybe Go as well. Go is probably the easiest, surprisingly, to write the tests in and to understand the testing framework. So I actually might lead with that because I think it has this, like, those structs have the simplest, you know, visual flow. But that's it. That is it. Do you have any resources for technical writing, like API documentation? I do not. I don't have any resources for it, but yeah, if you want to learn how to write technical API documentation, I probably watch a video or check out a course on something like Swagger. I think Swagger is kind of almost a standard at this point to kind of check out, to kind of help you do those things. I do not, but I can definitely look up some, see if I can find out any. That's something I've never, really thought about going to find. But yeah, we'll definitely check that out. If you find any as well, please share. Like I said, I always love new resources. Whatever you find, wherever you find it. Like I said, someone asked me in the chat, like, was it okay if they shared links to other people's training programs? Absolutely, share whatever you find, because again, I may use that I may go to that person's training course and I may learn a lot and allow me to create content off of it as well, and teach it in a different way that that may reach people they are not able to reach, or people who just don't know about them, and vice versa. They may share the content that everyone everyone is a wealth of resources, and share that so that everyone can get all the goodness that you got to offer. But that's it. We're out of here. I'm gonna go relax with my beautiful wife who's sitting next to me. And everyone have a good night. I'm gonna do my best to have a good night and go check on the dog. I don't know where she is. Haven't heard her barking in a while. But who are we gonna raid this evening? Let's check out Twitch and see who we are going to raid. Want to come say hi to the people? No? She doesn't want to come say hi to you. She never wants to come say hi. Just come and say hi. We're about to go raid people. She's not coming to say hi. You're so close. It's gonna be creepier. Yeah, there you go. Well, there she is. She just sits over here and she just listens. So she's like a part of the stream, but she just, I don't know, she just be over there being just lurking, just being a creeper. Oh, she's doing her homework. Okay, I take it back. She's doing homework right now, but other nights, I know she'd be doing over there. I be watching, we texting and watching ratchet videos. Hey, but sometimes you gotta live. She said all the ratchet videos, she said I'm lying, and that the ratchet videos are nutrition videos. She's lying to you. Also, check this out. Look at this. This is Twitch. Look at that. A giant Trojan advertisement. I can't make this stuff up. I didn't put that there. I didn't search anything. This is what Twitch decided to put on my channel. As I'm searching through, I'm just letting you all know. They said stock up. What's your loadout? Come on, this not. Come on. Yeah, I'm screenshotting this. Snipping tool. New. Let's grab that, just so everyone believes. You all should probably get that. It's very gamer focused. Pretty interesting. JSON payload. That's yeah, basically. All right, where are we going? Science and tech. Let's flip it. Let's do live channels. Let's do channel count. Let's do low to high, and let's go to at least one. Yeah, I mean it's gonna feel weird. Oh, call-in talk shows. I don't know, some of these might be a little are we in the science and tech section? Yeah, some of these might be a little I don't know. We got to be careful about what we're getting into here. Let's see. What is the barn owl? What are people doing? I'm excited about these things. Now I want to check them out. But what is I have no idea what this is, but we're gonna we're gonna YOLO it a little bit, and we're gonna head over to Coley Pokey. Yeah, there we go. It's gonna be exciting. Raid Coley Pokey. Oh, that's an invalid username, so I can't spell. Let's try that one more time. Maybe I need to make it a little larger here. Whoops, wrong thing. Let's see what this is first. I did not click on the right thing at all. Well, I made a mistake, so I think that person is gone. Now I feel bad. Oh no, here we go. Let's see what this person's doing first before we see. That's whack, but I'll just do it. I spelled Coley Pokey. Coley. Oh, I did Coley Pokey. And Coley Pokey. All right, now we're heading over here. Sorry about that. Now the dog is she's barking now, so she's here. But everyone, have a great night. Head over, let's tell Coley we said hi, and have a good night. Peace.